Because you've got powerful legs. How do you get the physique? Was it gym or how do you get the physique?
I've always been...
She's actually not got powerful legs. Do you shower in your dressing room? Do you have a shower on the day of a fight or not? Tell us about the tattoos.
Shut the fuck up, you little prick.
But then I've got the Phoenix.
Hey, prick.
So I'll take it from Bob every day of the week.
Absolute disgrace.
That's your knowing mind.
Move him out of here, Darren.
Ricky Hatton didn't go over for his fighter because he risked getting abducted and sold into sexual slavery.
I never said that.
Both have been rape victims. I'm not watching Frank Buglioni live on Saturday night. You're out of your mind.
Jesus Christ, get yourself a life.
He's actually a priest.
Yeah.
It's because his brother John Fury eye gouged him.
What have I told you all this time? He's going to end up sucked out, fucked out, looking for a handout.
Boxing nutters messenger group. I'm gonna be the king.
J-Pump, you know what I'm saying?
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the 547th edition of the Boxing Asylum Nuthouse podcast. I am your returning host, Steve Wellings, and joining me on the call this evening, we have Matty Di Gialinardo and Andy Patterson, going live on YouTube from 8 o'clock every Sunday evening. The ad-free Patreon RSS feed updates shortly after the show concludes. Hello to everyone listening through the week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Sports Social, and YouTube as well. Don't forget to leave a review or a comment, but a review, especially on the podcast player of your choice, throughout the entire month of November. Nothing less than 5 stars is acceptable. Fair play to the boys. They did a great job last weekend in my absence. Rapping Rob Kelly was there as well. Oh, good to hear Ozzie Smith returning. Danny Young as well, head of the Boxing Asylum merchandise department. And also Des jumped on. Enjoy yourself there, Matty. You had a good strong panel, good strong crowd as well. The chat were there, nearly 4,000 listeners altogether.
It was fantastic. Nothing like a little bit of controversy or drama in boxing to drum up those old numbers. And lo and behold, had to have tech issues occurring during that. Nothing can be perfect, but we did have a hell of a group, and we did the best we could in your absence, Steve.
Absolutely. Nothing can be perfect. It wasn't your fault, Matty. You did a fantastic job. I'm back again this week, and there's only the 3 of us. Hopefully someone else will jump on. I will put the link in the chat like I always do these days, and if you want to have your say, there's always people who have their say in the chat. Shout out to everybody who's there. If you don't want to ring in, you don't have to, but there's always a few people slabbering, as they say around here, so feel free to jump on. I'll put the link very shortly. We're going to be talking Joe Cordina, going to be talking Makabu. He looks like he shot to me. He got iced over the weekend. Don King was back in action as well. At 92, I think maybe 93 years of age now. A few other bits and pieces as well. First, let's start with the heavyweights. We will. Yes.
I'm just curious if that London guy might hop on again. You know the guy that was in he was in the chat last week. You missed it, and he had the spelling of a dim 10-year-old kid and the punctuation of a Welsh rant. It was just probably a very interesting guy to talk to. Sounded oddly similar to Isaac Lowe, actually.
I'm going to say maybe it could have been Isak, but not of the cruise variety, Matty. It could have been Mr. Lowe himself. You never know. We had a bit of beef with somebody in the YouTube comments during the week as well, so he could be, or he might be smart enough to be coming in and out under a pseudonym.
Well, God, that'd be a very smart
or a
move
pseudonym.
Pseudonym. I'd like to see him spell pseudonym. Actually, that could be fun for that'd be worth the price of entry on its own.
Yeah, I think I would struggle myself. Talking to the price of entry, throw in a few quid on the super chat if you want, but you don't have to. Just your likes, your subscribes, and your love will be enough. Let's get on with it before people get fed up and turn me off. Let's start with the heavyweights, who will seamlessly transition, hopefully, into the Fury-Usyk chat. Ngannou a little bit as well. I wasn't here last weekend, so naturally the heavyweight discussion does tend to lead that way because they're the two best fighters in the world at the moment. As for FA Ajagba, Matty, we'll stick with you here. Top 15 in the world, I think Bernardo Osuna was saying, going in against Australia's upset king, Joseph Goodall. Didn't really think Goodall was going to be good enough to get the job done, but the fact he'd come in and beaten Stephen Shaw caused a little bit of a mini upset on ESPN, meant he got his opportunity. They'd fought in the Commonwealth a while back as amateurs, and Goodall had scored the victory. He didn't come close to looking like he was going to be able to repeat that victory over Ajagba on Saturday night.
No, and it was interesting. His only loss prior to this was to Justice Hooney, who fought a couple weeks ago against Andrew Tabiti and looked pretty sharp. But he unfortunately just did not have what it took as far as foot speed and movement to get away from that Ajagba jab, which kind of forced him to kind of rush in a little bit. And then he started catching that uppercut, and that basically did the trick for Ajagba, who I have to say, based on his opponent or otherwise, that's probably the best I've seen Ajagba look ever, Steve. There seems to be some development from him. It was tough to tell in that Kasabutsky fight where Kasabutsky wanted to keep hitting him in the testicles, etc. Didn't get to see as much as we might want to see there, but there's something developing there. I don't know where it ends, where that level might be. But I think Ajagba's in a really comfortable place as a good gatekeeper in the division, and I wish that they would maybe put him in with Jared Anderson. I think that would be a reasonable fight. Maybe in a couple fights, Ricardo Torres, if that doesn't happen. There's enough going on over at Top Rank that a guy like Ajagba, who's sometimes I forget how big he is. I mean, he's 6'6" with the reach of fury. I mean, this is a big guy.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be sitting on the shelf. He might not necessarily be of a championship quality with the guys around him right now, but he should at least be a test for those who are trying to get a chance at that at a shot at the belt. And I'd like to see him in there with some of the young guns now.
Yeah, Andrew Thickett there saying Ajagba looked much improved, better feet and jab. Goodall moved in straight lines and doesn't move his head because a good overall opponent. I did think he has this ridiculously long reach, Andy. It's going to trouble anybody if they can get his punch output and the way he picks his shots improving, which it seemed like it was on Saturday night. His uppercut was put to good use against a much smaller opponent who was standing there to take the uppercut. Goodall really didn't have the power or the skills to offer anything. Where do you think Ajagba fits into the wider area of the heavyweight division? They've kind of brought him back slowly. I'm just clicking on his record now. After that Sanchez lost, Darmos, bit of a gimme there, blasted him out. Stephen Shaw, decent enough win, showed a few things, quite close in the end. Kasabutsky was a farce, he just came to throw low blows. And then the win over Goodall. Though it's 4 solid wins. He is improving. The corner team seem to be doing a decent job with him. But what have we seen from him to suggest that when he gets in against a fighter of Frank Sanchez's caliber again, maybe not Sanchez himself, that he's going to be able to do things that he wasn't able to do last time and beat the Furies, beat the Ruizes or the Deontay Wilders or the AJs and that? He is improving, but is he improving enough? Will we find that out, Andy, until he fights a decent opponent?
Yeah, it's going to be, mate, at the end of the day. I mean, okay, he's improved, a little bit. I didn't see the fight last night, but I did read the fight report. It didn't seem that he had it all mostly his own way. As for the wider landscape, we all know, which we're going to discuss it in a little bit, I would imagine, but the Fury-Usyk situation just holds up the whole division. You have mandatories getting stacked up as well. Hrgovic is still waiting for his shot, I believe. Wilder's still floating about. Otto Wallon's had a decent win come back, so he's chapping on the door. Martin Bucoli's, he's still lingering about as well. So there's other guys in front of him. But if he was to take the chance, take the risk, and maybe even face these guys, I think against Otto Wallon, who is a decent boxer, but he fights very one-paced and he doesn't really put a lot of third shots together. So I think it would be a good test for him as well. When you go, Matty.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you're throwing around names there, and this kind of popped to me. Given I guess Ngannou might have some sort of a working relationship with Top Rank now. I don't think Ajagba was a bad fight for Ngannou, who proved his mettle, and why not try to compete as a boxer? I don't think that's a bad fight.
What, fighting Ngannou?
Yeah.
Nah, mate.
Look, Ajagba needs a dance partner. And Ngannou showed enough against Fury that this might be something he wants to pursue. Why not a highly ranked guy like Ajagba?
And Ngannou be looking at the bigger paydays, though, mate, after that performance on Fury.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. It's so much risk and reward. I know it's a big Cameroon-Nigeria derby there, but he could get absolutely iced by Ajagba in a round.
Well, and I know if he can get someone like Wilder, you're right. Why? Why would he do that? And I would personally, why the fuck not? And I actually kind of think Wilder would knock him out. Styles make fights, right? Anyhow, I don't know. I think the one thing that we really didn't touch on last week, and I hate to divert the conversation, is Ngannou a player in the heavyweight division now?
I don't think so, Andy. I think he's just there all about the money, like Barry Murray's saying. What do you think?
That's what I just said there, mate. I mean, he's there for the biggest payday. I mean, you got Eddie Hearn now trying to make promises and that as well. He's trying to jump on the gravy train. He's laying into Fury and that as well, just trying to kind of get a bit of PR going. I'm looking at the division just now. I don't see any other names other than Fury or Joshua that Ngannou would probably even entertain to fight. I mean, he came over to boxing to get paid. He's not going to go and fight Efe Ajagba on ESPN in a 10-rounder with their shitty kind of productions and money they're kind of offering just now. It just feels like the whole ESPN thing
He carries his own pay-per-view crowd from his UFC days, dude. There's
that as well, mate. But as I say, where's the money from him fighting the Jagba though? I agree with what the poster said there on the chat, and as I said it as well, is he's here for the dosh.
Somebody paid Tyson Fury to fight Derek Chisora for the umpteenth time. Where's the money for fucking anything?
Chisora and Ngannou's more likely because Chisora's a name. I know he's washed to hell, but that's the kind of circus fights Ngannou's going to be involved in, I think.
See if Ngannou is really serious about taking up the boxing, professionally rather than just chasing the paydays and that, then he's got to start going through some of the top 10, top 15 guys. You're talking like Joseph Parker, you're talking like Matt Mudoff or Jared Anderson, Big Otto Allen, as I mentioned, Andy Ruiz, guys like that. That's who he's going to be fighting if he's serious about being a boxer. He's not here for the payday, which I think he is. I mean, he'll never need to fight again after that payday he got there against Fury. But I think as well as he's got a few aces up his sleeve and that as well. If he's got Eddie Hearn trying to call him in.
Pardon?
I says he's got Eddie Hearn trying to call him in for meetings and try to make him an offer and all that sort of stuff. So why would he turn around and then fight Efe Ajagba though if he's going to fight Joshua?
It all depends. Well, it depends on what ends up on the potential for him, right? The only reason I would say that something like an Ajagba makes more sense than a Chisora. Let's take a step back. Joshua Wilder, nothing makes more sense than that. If that's not available, why would that make more sense? Because Ajagba has a higher ranking. If he's wanting, because you don't know what if he wants it or not. That would be the only reason. Is it's a good ranked opponent. But again, probably not happening. Probably a 99.9% chance it doesn't happen. But I am curious if we should start treating Ngannou in this conversation. I don't know. I want to see him in another heavyweight boxing match to kind of get a bearing on that to see, can he compete with the Ajagbas of the world? I don't know.
Angel Diaz in the chat there says Jared Anderson said no to Frank Sanchez. We sent the contract. I'm not sure who Angel Diaz is, but we could start sending some contracts out maybe, Andy, to people.
Yeah, I can maybe get Jovan Guidry in to do the business, mate.
No, I don't know if it's pronounced Angel or Angel, but I mean, we would love, if you're working with Anderson, we would love to have you hop on the show. Steve will put the link in there for you, 100%.
Yeah, he says the way that reads to me, he worked for Frank Sanchez.
Oh, well, yeah, pardon me. So if you work for Frank Sanchez, we'd be glad to talk with you, 100%.
I think Steve put the link in it. There
there's the link there now. Yeah, show your face. These faceless Diaz's.
Yeah, but we talk to you for 100%.
We'll talk to anybody.
Yeah,
that's the levels we're at.
But anyhow, back to meanwhile back at the ranch, sitting on the front porch with Efe Ajagba and his jab.
Yeah. Well, one thing I was going to say just quickly, Andy, on the Ngannou Fury fight, because I did watch it. Like it was a bit of a chore at times, but it was.
Yeah.
I thought Ngannou brought a bit of an excitement and an unpredictability that the established heavyweight names have been unable to deliver over the past few years. I thought the thing was with Fury, he just looked a bit panicked to me. He looked shocked at Ngannou's strength. He had this sneaky adaptability. I thought Fury expected the fight to play out a certain way. He expected Ngannou to perform a certain way. Gas out after 5 rounds. He'd knock him out. We all go home happy. I thought that too. Ngannou didn't do that. He was strong in the clinches, good upper body strength. He landed that shot that dropped Fury. And Fury, to me, he looked shocked. He looked panicked. He looked a bit out of control at times.
Yeah, and I think Matty even called it properly last week in that he was probably embarrassed after that fight. His whole demeanour, the way he spoke, his tone of voice, a guy who probably would admit to himself privately that I got lucky there. I was seeing some videos in that back as well, just obviously stuff that's come out afterwards and that. It seems to be there was a bit of a jolly in that over. I mean, it was like the who's who of boxing over there at one point.
Mm.
It seems to be a big gala dinner put on, and Fury was there, Dad John was there, and all that type of stuff. So, as I said it as well, has he trained properly for it? Who knows? You know, is he undertrained, overtrained? To me, at least, it just looked like a guy who felt like he could go in there and it would just be doing his repertoire, doing his skills, doing his movement, and doing his his athleticism basically, and just basically outbox this guy, use his experience. But after he got dropped, and I said to the guys in that as well, after about the 5th round, I thought Ngannou was maybe gassed a little bit, but he seemed to kind of like dig in, find moments, and he was strong. And to be fair as well, fair play to Tyson and the crew and that, Mike Tyson, that for putting together at least a semblance of a game plan, tighten those shots up a little bit. I mean, that left hook that was thrown at times, and Ngannou was sent with bad intentions over it and that. So he's definitely a dangerous guy in that regard. Just didn't have it a wee bit just towards the back half. That I felt Fury probably just shaded it. Definitely didn't have it a wide victory for Fury to be fair. But Ngannou, as I say, it's just one of those situations. Somebody's going to come a cropper one of these days against one of these debutants or these inexperienced boxers, shall we call them, or inexperienced combat fighters who move over different disciplines and that. We've seen it with James Toney going to the UFC. We've seen some guys come across for the UFC, or like suppose the guy Holshkin came across from kickboxing. So it does happen, and some of them will perform better than expected. We see it with the Thai fighters, and the Muay Thai guys moving into boxing and that as well. But one of these days, an A-lister is going to get fucking seen to or filled in by one of these guys, either by pure accident or just by being like Fury, for example, just off the boil, possibly undertrained, didn't take it serious enough. It was all about the money. It was all about a money grab. But I'm telling you, I still maintain to this day that Usyk fight is something he needs time to train for mentally and physically in that, because it's everything. That Usyk fight is going to happen, mate. If it doesn't happen, I'm going to put the blame squarely at Fury's door, because it's there to be had. He said he was wanting to go ahead with the 23rd date, but Frank's kind of maybe trying to talk him out yet, maybe do it later in the year and that. But
no, it's supposed to be agreed to for February.
Yeah, I was say later in the year, February, and that. Sorry, next year, February. But if we're still talking about this, by June time next year, this fight's still not being made.
It's the new Wilder AJ, isn't it?
Oh, mate, exactly. I came across that old video, actually, Barry Hearn saying that Joshua shouldn't fight Deontay Wilder until 2020. Here we are, 3 years later, we're still fucking waiting for it. That fight's never happening either. We can forget about that, Deontay Wilder against Joshua as well. So I maybe kind of rambled on a wee bit there, mate. But as I say about Fury and that, I just think, for the tone of voice I've been hearing from him and that as well, there's a bit of reality check there, I think. After that fight, he felt it. He definitely felt it. And the question also as well is, has the Wilder fights, the 3 Wilder fights, finally caught up with him? White gave him no issues. Chisora, we know, is washed, gave him no issues. It wasn't until he kind of met a guy physically capable. Ngannou's a strong dude, mate. I don't care what anybody says, but you've seen him on the scales, better shape and condition than what White and fucking Chisora's ever been in, mate, to be fair. So, again, maybe just on the night, one guy's trained his ass off, another guy hasn't trained his ass off, and that's what we got. Near panic.
Yeah, Chris Butler saying there, wouldn't be surprised if Fury retired, but you wouldn't know, would you? He'll say this, that, and the other. Andrew Thickett says the Berlin Wall goes back up before we get AJ Wilder back to a communist dystopia across Europe before we have that fight. I don't know, Matty. I mentioned before about Ngannou adding a little injection of maybe not excitement, but sort of intrigue, maybe was the thing. This is the only fight that Fury's going to have. It might be better off if Fury just loses and then we take away the stigma of the O and the belts and him holding up the division. I am sort of getting fed up with him. I don't want to see this Usyk fight lingering on. There's only two guys. They need to just make this damn fight and get on with it. And then Wilder AJ, hopefully, whether it's not going to happen on the undercard, is it? Let's be honest. But these are the fights that we need to just move the heavyweight division on. And if the belts are going to splinter, they need to splinter after we've decided the true king.
Well, Steve, I think it'll be interesting to see what 2024 looks like for boxing. I think a lot of the holdup is on some ends or promotional stuff and things of that nature, but I am not one of those people that thinks that the heavyweight division is devoid of talent. I think that there's a fair number of young fighters who I oftentimes forget all of their names at this point in time, who have a lot to them and could ultimately show themselves to be good enough to challenge for the heavyweight title. Obviously Tyson Fury has to shit or get off the pot, but they have to just make these fights too. And I'm wondering, with Showtime out of boxing now, we don't know where the PBC is going to land. ESPN's deal is up starting in 2025. Are they going to be like, fuck, we need to put on some fights to save our jobs? And if that's the case, I think we'll get far more in 2024 than anything that we've seen in recent years. But if their heads are up their ass, they'll just keep pushing boxing towards being more and more of a niche sport between the promoters and people like Tyson Fury. So it's kind of in their hands. The Tyson Fury is just one guy, though. There's a lot of heavyweight fights that can be made that don't involve him, Wilder, or AJ. And I would like to see those happen just as well. And because I'm there to watch the fights, and my world doesn't revolve around Tyson Fury.
No, these debates will go on for time immemorial. The lads in the chat having a bit of an argument over AJ's resume compared to Wilder's and his best win, etc. It's all subjective at the end of the day.
Klitschko.
Yep. Possibly. MB, Ajagba versus Bakoli seems a logical fight. Bakoli looked a little bit fat in his last fight, but he put on that extra muscle. 300 pounds he came in and banged out Takam. They'd sparred in the past. I think Takam now, he's maybe one of these guys I need to have a look at. He's not going to withdraw his license because he'll always get work somewhere across the world. But yeah, he's taken a lot of shots and he's always been a come forward, effective fighter. And if he's getting stopped now by big fat Bakoli, they maybe need to take a look at him. Matt Butters, we need to take a look at Matt Butters. I think he could be shot too. He says, I still think Ajagba is probably still just below world level. I would agree with that. Also, Andy, Alex Bellotti takes us even further down the pathway and says Otto Wallin versus Hrgovic is happening now. Hrgovic has been on the mandatory status for about 3 years, I think, and Wallin's a member of the Who Needs Him club. They could get together. If Wallin can pull off the same performance that Zhang did, well, it won't be very good, actually, because Zhang lost in the end, according to the scorecard. So Hrgovic will keep plodding on as best as
Why is that fight happening?
Alex Bellotti said it's happening. I'm not sure.
But why, though? I mean,
IBF eliminator, would it be?
I thought Hrgovic was a mandatory, though.
That's what I thought. Why would Hrgovic be taking a fight like that?
Maybe they're making it for an interim or something of that nature
to keep things moving.
Yeah, possibly. And I'm glad to see that. That's one of those fights that I mentioned after Wallen's most recent victory. So that I'm all fine with that one.
Remember Otto Wallin he had a fight in, he beat Gazev, didn't
That's
he?
A few weeks ago, yeah.
Was that some sort of eliminator? Was he?
Yeah, it was IBF eliminator, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think so.
Hell, Gazev getting fucking eliminators. I can't mind that. Well, there we go.
He's still young. The future's ahead of Gazev, Andy. Let's not write him off too long. He's only 25.
Mate, that is the oldest 25 looking dude I've ever seen.
F2's talking about some of the old-time heavyweights. He's got a nice Fraser Crane picture there as well as his toss-up between Brewster, Bird, Ibragimov, Peter and Chagla. I forgot about Luan Krasniqi there, Andy. Should throw him into the mix. Or what about Devarel Touch of Sleep Williamson?
Remember, I forget the guy's name. What's his name? Oh, the South African. I posted him on the Patreon chat.
Courage Shabalala.
Courage Shabalala, that's the one. This guy had over 100 knockouts, I believe, as an amateur, right? loads of them in the first round, and he was touted as coming over as a pro, and he was icing everybody. Who's it iced him, Steve?
Was it
one round knockout against some sort of club fighter, and that was the myth fucking erased right there. And then you bring him back into the fucking mix. Chagayev was a good fighter, mate. Until he got fat.
Aye. I was watching one of the HBO heavyweight cards recently. I think it was Klitschko was fighting Ray Mercer or something. They were talking about the up and coming fighters in the heavyweight division, and Klitschko is one of the young talents to keep an eye out in the future, alongside Oleg Maskayev and Derek Jefferson.
Oh, is that the one about the one who fell outside the ring?
Well, Maskayev against Rachman, wasn't it, when he fell out the ring? Jefferson was a bit of a touted prospect back in the day, but he suffered a few knockout losses, and that was the end of him. But it's always good to go back and see who they were touting and who they thought were going to make it. Obviously, Klitschko was the best of the bunch, but Maskayev was a renowned puncher as well when he was unbeaten.
Big Sam Peter could dig as well, actually. Just came up short. Just got Vitali just beat the fucking granddad out of him, didn't they? So
Gerald Nobles, Johnny's talking about. Remember him, the Jedi Warrior? He had a fine set of tits on him. Gerald Nobles did. He fought Nikolai Valuev and then retired.
Is that Big John levels of nipples, by the way?
Oh dear, Frezequendo as well. Right, I think I fear we are going down the pathway.
Yeah, we've gotten through one fight in this first half hour here. It's fantastic.
Told you, Matty. We get there.
This is my fault. I'll take this.
No, it's not you. Not you at all. But I am sticking with you for the undercard, ESPN. We'll go through the fights. Well, you can touch upon whatever you want, really. Midway through the Raymond Moralla Diego Torres fight, Tim Bradley, who kept on saying "woo" all night, suddenly started saying he reckons Moralla beats Keyshawn Davis. I don't say whether he's right or wrong, but that's going to stir people up a bit, I think, making that projection. I'm not really sure why Bradley went there.
Yeah, I actually have a theory about that, Steve. I'm glad you brought that up. You know, Tim's a smart guy. He kind of knows, obviously, what the state of boxing is and where things are going. And I almost think that he's doing it to kind of troll Keyshawn to take that fight. Like trying to take his platform and just kind of play the role of instigator.
And do you think it's going to work? I mean, Keyshawn now has a no contest on his belt, doesn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, he was banned for 90 days, so I mean, who gives a fuck? Boxers.
That was for weed, you say, there.
Yeah, I think it was for weed. They didn't say, but if it's for 90 days, it's obviously not for anything performance enhancing. So my guess is, since he was in Colorado, which is legal here, it's kind of a gray area, so they gave him a 90. That'd be my hunch. But yeah, I think that's what Tim might have been doing. And to be honest with you, I think that's a good fight. And it would be interesting to see if Murataya could bring the best out of Keyshawn Davis, who really just didn't seem all too interested and almost got knocked off by Nahir Albright, who is a good fighter. Okay, don't dismiss him as some chump. Nahir Albright is a good fighter. It's not like he fought close with some club fighter. That's not the case. But I was really impressed with Murataya. What I thought was best about him, Steve, was that he had a really good control of distance. He got his shots off, and then he was just out of range for Torres and his return fire.
He negated Torres's power very smartly, I thought, with his footwork and, like you said, his range.
Yep. He's definitely a very clever fighter. He's a hard punching son of a bitch too. It was a good finish. He's very calculated in the way that he goes about things. Again, but it's tough. He's in a division of killers. So, I mean, he could lose a title fight and still be an exceptional fighter. So we'll see where that goes. But, Murataya against Keyshawn Davis is a good fight. Murataya against William Zepeda, also a good fight. And hopefully they start making these things happen. Otherwise, the sport could be in pretty shitty shape. And it's a shame if they don't, because, I mean, this division is 135 is so freaking stacked, Steve. I mean, not just the when you're talking about, who are the tight list or the interims, your Tank Davises and Devin Haney, who may or may not be gone. et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, you just get down to like the guys that are that are kind of relegated to gatekeepers, like Jermaine Ortiz.
Yes, going to mention him. Good shout.
Yep, he's a fantastic fighter. Gave Lomachenko a really good fight, and I think that's probably what brought Jamel Herring out of retirement, who will be fighting on Tuesday. Is the idea he lost close to Jermaine Ortiz, and he was probably thinking, "Oh shit, I'm washed." No, you fell just a couple of rounds short against probably a B+ guy. So yeah, I'm glad to see that Herring's coming and give it another wing here. But it's Murataya just stacks in this division so well. I want to see more of him. Just hopefully it's against the right opponents. Torres coming in undefeated, a knockout artist, but just not quite the goods. But a good test for a guy like Murataya, a good resume to put on his record there. Just got 18-0 on there. Looks good. So we'll see where he goes from here. There's a lot of options with that top rank, and it's all on Bob if it gets made. So we'll see what they do with him. The fight that I was most interested on that undercard, though, Steve, was Henley LeBron against William Foster III, and I got that one wrong. Man, LeBron, sharp boxer, started strong, closed strong. Foster kind of, I thought, controlled the middle, explaining the uniqueness of the scorecards, ranging everywhere from 99-91
to a draw.
To a draw. That 99-91 from David Sutherland, who's usually been a pretty good judge as of late. So that's a little bit of a surprise. So, but I thought that from kind of rounds 4 through 8-ish, that Foster had an argument in all of those rounds. So there's your draw card right there if you give those to him. But LeBron, the rounds that he controlled with his sharp boxing were fantastic. Finding ways to hurt Foster at times to the body as well. Also hurt him upstairs with a good right hook. Didn't quite find enough to finish the job. And I rate Foster pretty highly, but he looked very one-dimensional against LeBron in this battle of unbeaten prospects. The one thing you might say, Foster coming in after only being out like a month ago, might have been a little bit too quick of a turnaround after a pretty rough fight, even though he got the win. It was a 9th round stoppage. So we'll see where he goes next, probably back to a pro box card. But LeBron playing in this 130-pound division, and I think he'll probably be there to pick up an opportunity when Mr. Navarrete decides to move north.
Yeah, talking of stoppages, MB was discussing Celestino Ruiz's decision to terminate the Murataya fight against Torres. I thought Torres was about to get a beating, but I do like fights to go on to their natural conclusion, and I am curious as to why Ruiz did that. They did mention on the commentary he turned around and looked back to his corner when he should have been staring at the ref, which is always a silly thing to do. You give the ref any opportunity to call it off. Tony Weeks got a stoppage in over the weekend as well, but I actually agreed with that one. So no beef for Weeks from me.
If you want a conspiracy, Steve, I will say that it was 17 seconds before where the over-under in rounds was sitting.
Oh, they are Illuminati confirmed, will you say then?
Or the ref bet the under.
Well done, yeah, absolutely. Get on it, I would say. And if the referee's done that, then fair play to him. Well, Lobito's boxing breakdown, he's breaking this shit down in the chat. He said Tim Bradley is compensating for being biased for Black Americans in the past. Matty, before we move on, he got the memo, is Lobito's theory. This is back to Murataya, Keyshawn Davis.
I don't know about that. I mean, because you got to think in his list of his 5 his triple stamp prospects. I mean, you have Xander Zayas in there, Puerto Rican. I think you're pushing, dude.
Do you think he just threw the Puerto Rican in because he got the memo?
But yeah, exactly. Exactly. He was threatened. Otherwise, the Puerto Rican powers that be were going to rain down all hell upon him and his bald, bulbous head.
Matt Butters suspects Tim might be an LDBC advocate. Well, we are the UK branch of the LDBC here at the podcast, so we're happy to endorse Tim if that's indeed the case. Rapping Rob Kelly, back to the main event. You're very welcome, by the way.
Speaking of the LDBC.
Roberto! I didn't know what that stood for. I thought it was like lesbians, dykes, and something. I didn't know what was going on.
Need to add a plus on to the end, I think. LDBC plus.
Can I get a foul?
Oh, fucking hell.
For fuck's sake. Effie Ajagba knocking out Joseph Goodall. More interestingly, Rob, you might be wondering, what is the Dr. Joseph Ajayo's opinion on Ajagba, with them both being Nigerian nationals? I did message him, and the doctor was definitely not happy. He went on a biblical tirade about Ajagba. So he's team AJ, but Ajagba is definitely a no-no. He's not a fan.
Well, that makes two of us. What do they call him? The silent roller or something? The silent killer? Something like that. That's his nickname, isn't it? They're saying him versus Illy Zhang next. Saying, I don't know. I think Zhang might be looking upwards, or whatever, but it's supposed to be a decent fight if they could make it, but I couldn't give a fuck about it at all. What's happening? What was on last night again? What fights are we talking about? Forget FA Ajagba.
We were going through the top rank undercard. Do you want us to wrap that up and then you can rejoin us?
No. I'm happy to listen along. I did see a good bit of boxing this weekend, and then I saw some stuff that was on the telly as well. So
it's amazing what you can see looking out your front window, isn't it?
Exactly. No, FA Ajagba, I've never been excited by his style. I guess he can punch. Heavyweights these days bore me to fucking shit, man. All of them are just boring, apart from my main man Francis Ngannou, who's the real deal in the heavyweight division now. He's the one that's fucking calling the shots. And actually, do you know what? I think back last week we were a bit solemn or whatever on the pod. I don't want to fucking go down a rabbit hole here. Wouldn't be like me. But fucking Ngannou, he has to get so much credit to, even on the off night. Even if Tyson Fury on an off night, a lot of heavyweights probably couldn't hang with him like the way Ngannou did. So even if he's the worst version of Tyson Fury, there's still a lot of heavyweights that couldn't fucking do nothing with the worst version of Tyson Fury. And this fella at 35 with 2 years inactivity and a couple of months training with Mike Tyson goes out and puts him on his arse and nearly fucking stops him in the 8th. Not nearly stops him, but rocks him to the fucking core in the 8th round. He definitely fucking deserves a lot of credit. I don't think I'm going down the full Joe Rogan route of saying that he's the best heavyweight boxer in the world, but he gave a great account of himself. So anyway, let's see where he is in the shake-up now. I hear he's ranked by the WBC in the top 10, so it's going to get interesting now with him calling the shots as an independent promoter.
Well, here's an interesting one, Rob. It's just came to me. You mentioning that about Ngannou's place in the sport. Apparently, he's going to fight on December the 23rd in Saudi Arabia. Assuming he's a player, beat or lose, Ngannou against Dillian White. How does that fight end up?
Probably with fucking Dillian White's role in the fucking... I'm not even going to make a fucking... what I was going to say. Probably wouldn't be the only fucking... Anyway, let's just leave
Come on, I've got more for you then. What about Trevor Bryant?
I don't think Dillian's going to be back.
Trevor Bryant.
Poor Trevor wouldn't
Francis Ngannou.
Knock over job for Francis, wouldn't it? It'd be fucking... We need Don King out in Saudi Arabia. That's what we need. You know what I mean? It was destined to end up here. Let's get Don over there to fucking really shake shit up. Where was Don, by the way, on the big meeting of legends? No sign of Don King.
Didn't see him.
Or Oscar.
Here's one I mentioned earlier, Rob. What about Ngannou against Del Boy Chisora?
Sure, he fucking killed. He fucking, what's it called? Stradell is nearly on
a thriller, that, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a sadist talking, isn't it? Derek Chisora, yeah, he get fucking the shit better out of him, but I'd say, you know what? He'd take the fight. I know for a fact he'd take the fight, Derek Chisora.
What about Ngannou against Johnny Fisher? This is the last one for you.
I want to see Ngannou versus Big Johnny Fisher. That's the one I want to see.
Will I get it, new line of t-shirts.
Oh, Jesus. They might fit Ngannou, actually, the t-shirts.
Oh, dear.
It's crazy, though, isn't it? It is a bit fucking it's a bit like Matrix shit, like that a fella came out of the MMA and his backstory and all about escaping out of the mines and traveling across continents, and just becomes like a fucking hard bastard who could fight in any sport. Like a fella who could go on 6 months train to fight the heavyweight champion of the world and drop him. That's some fucking going. I don't give a fuck. That is some going. Even if he looks like shit, it doesn't matter. He still did it.
He did. He's the main man. He's there. Right, let's close out the ESPN undercard, Matty, before we move on to the rest of the action. Charlie Sheehy. Never mind Charlie Sheen. It's all about Charlie Sheehy. He started off well. Apparently, he beat Virgil Ortiz and Ryan Garcia as an amateur. as the fight went on, he hurt his hand or his ribs or something, but he didn't look as hot as the fight went on, as these prospects tend to do. Brandon Moore as well, a heavyweight who's been sparring with Fury, Wilder, and God knows who else. He started off well against little fat Robert Sims. As the fight went on again, he struggled to get rid of him. Omar Rosario lost against Angel Rebelar. That was a bit of an upset. Lindolfo Delgado iced Luis Hernandez Ramos in round 4. And there was another one, actually, I was going to mention. Oh, yes. I thoroughly enjoyed the fight between Antonio Mireles, a big 6'9", I think he was, prospect, 268 pounds, against Skylar Lacey. And I must admit, Matty, I wasn't familiar with the work of Skylar Lacey, but when I saw him coming out from Indianapolis, Indiana, 6'7", looking like that on the screen, I thought, this big dosser is a club circuit fighter, going to get knocked out in a better round. He actually didn't. If he hadn't gassed, I thought he would have won that fight.
Yeah, it kind of looks like fucking white boy Rick all grown up, doesn't it? He changed his name, started boxing when he got out of prison. I don't know. But yeah, it was it was a pretty good fight. You know, I love a good draw. Both guys had their moment. Probably lean towards Lacey in that one, but that was a decent little heavyweight fight on there. Hell, run it back. Does it really matter anymore? Fucking run it back. We'll do that one again. Didn't catch the 2 fights prior to that one. Moore against Sims. Moore, another one of them heavyweights, like you said, doesn't seem to have a tank. Martinez against Wise, just blasted him around. Nothing going on there. That Rosario Revelar fight was a really interesting one, though, Steve, because a 7-3 guy getting the nod pretty wide in a some swing rounds going on there against an undefeated guy. Big shock there. But the one thing that I think is worth pointing out there is the same thing that was irking Tim Bradley in there. There is that Rosario threw a bunch of elbows and didn't get called by the ref once. Flagrant elbows. Very dirty fighter. So absolutely happy for Revelar for getting the W on that one, because that was some nasty shit, and to not even get talked to by the referee was ridiculous. But interesting enough, 5 hours of entertainment from Top Rank. I tuned in, tuned out at times, but I thought that they did a pretty good job with the top of the card, even though Murtaya Torres was a little bit one-sided. It was still a development fight for the young fighters. So all in all, I thought it was a pretty enjoyable night of boxing, especially considering that they didn't even have it listed on the ESPN boxing schedule when you did the show last week. Doing a great job marketing your shit, guys.
It was a long ass night, wasn't it? I felt for you, Matty. About 7.5 hours altogether, I think.
It was pretty rough there, Steve. Pretty rough. It was not for the faint of heart. I think I dozed off for an hour and a half in the middle, not going to lie.
Matty's doing the Lord's work on Sunday.
That's how I feel when he's hosting.
Low blow. Matt Butter says that uppercut Delgado threw was fucking devastating, Steve. It was a lovely, lovely finish. Right, you are listening to episode 547 Boxing Asylum Nuthouse podcast. Let's put Ajagba into the vault for this evening.
Look at the boys in the chat on about Babe Station. Babe Station's still going, says one of them.
Is it still going? I don't know.
How the fuck would I know? As if I have a fucking skybox these days. It's not on Fire Stick anyway. I must look for it.
You'll just get the first 10 minutes and then the Fire Stick cuts off.
Yeah. 1 minute you're talking to Charmaine Sinclair, next minute you're on the fucking, what you call it? The fucking, what you... the static.
Oh dear. Yeah, Rapping Rob Kelly's here with us. Matty's here as well, and so is Andy. I'm Steve. In case you didn't know, we'll give the chat. Yeah, well, there's a slip for you.
That's a different channel.
We'll give the chat a shout out. Got muddled up for you. What should we go on to next? That's the question. I haven't got anything prepared with all this chat talk. We'll go on to Cordina.
Chat fighters.
Chat fighters.
Oh yeah, I watched Cordina. I did. I forgot that was on. Fuck.
Yes, well done, Matty. We'll go to Andy first on this one. Joe Cordina majority decision against Edward Vasquez, 15-1 IBF World Super Featherweight title. Eddie made me laugh during the week. He said the Sissoko Lucero fight could be one of the fights of the night. I thought there's only fucking 4 fights on the whole card. So it didn't turn out to be that. But Cordina against Vasquez was a decent enough fight. they looked like they're a couple of weight divisions apart, Andy. Cordina, surprisingly to everybody, has gone back to being pillow-fisted again. I wonder what he's taken out of his diet. What's he not eating anymore?
I don't know, mate. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he's not been taking the shakes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, these milkshakes that they get these days and that. Who knows? Maybe he's been making some cutbacks in his training camp. Who knows? Maybe his hands are hurting again, because that's what happened to him. Maybe he hurt his hand.
Could be.
That's why he lost his title previously. But just going back to the Eddie comments about the Suzuki fight, anybody who thinks he was being serious there, by the way, I should have asked him if he was doing it with a straight face, because there's one thing that dude is never in, that Solomon Suzuki, is fight of the night or fight of the year contender status, and guarantee you that shit. As for Cordina, mate, I've had a busy weekend, so I've only kind of caught up with the highlights of this fight, to be fair. Just going back to kind of last week's comments, I think I hadn't seen this guy Vasquez fight before. Obviously, being Mexican and that, you just don't know what you're going to get. He's either going to be cannon fodder or he's going to be something decent. Being world ranked, I think he's going to be something decent. I thought he fought pretty well. I think Cordina choosing to fight inside with him from time to time. Maybe he was a bit stronger for him. I think maybe Cordina possibly landed a bit of the kind of harder shots. But I just think Vasquez was quite comfortable. You know, I thought he was happy with what he was taking. He was more comfortable in the pocket. He was happy in the big exchanges and that with Cordina and that as well. I think he maybe lost a mouthpiece at one point. I just think around about the middle half, it looked like Cordina started kind of like stepping back a little bit. But I think pretty much in all, I think Cordina probably was in control of the fight. I think the 8th and 9th, for what I've seen of it, it looked like it was quite close. Vasquez was probably having to work really hard to kind of get the opportunities, whereas Cordina was kind of happy to kind of box. I didn't think he was getting reckless or anything like that either. So I think he had to be patient, trying to get his opportunities, and that at the end of the day. But I think just looking at it off that, I think the cleaner shots were coming from Cordina. The heavier shots seemed to be coming from him as well, and I thought he'd done enough to win the fight. But I hadn't seen Vasquez before, so I didn't know what we were going to get from him today, to be fair. But as I say, you've got to watch it with these Mexicans and that, because they are fucking tough, mate. You just don't know. You know, these guys, you know, if they're no amateurs and that, then obviously they're training in gyms. That's where they get their experience and that. This guy is, you know, he's very decent. He's very decent. But I think, as I say, Cordina would definitely win the fight for me. But it certainly was not easy. He certainly kind of made the work for it.
Just a quick one on the scoring, Andy. Matt Butter says it was a good fight, 114 fight for me. Vasquez came to win, applied good front foot pressure. Cordina choosing to counter more but getting pushed back now and again. He then went on to say, I have no problem with Cordina 116, 112. I don't either, to be honest with you. I thought it was a very close fight, 114. But in a fight when it's sort of back and forward in a lot of the rounds, one of the judges only had to have seen 2 of the rounds differently, and then all of a sudden you got a 116, 112. I'm not really.
The other way, no.
Hate that, to be honest.
Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. A couple of rounds go the other way. I think the 8th and 9th, I think, were quite close. If those went the other way, you know, what would have happened there? Would you got a kind of majority decision the other way? Who knows?
I don't think it was like a hugely contentious decision. I thought Cordina was probably sharper in some of the exchanges, maybe caught the judge's eyes a little bit. But like, you still have to score the fight round by round. Like, so Vasquez was probably more active in the rounds where there was nothing happening and he was forcing the pressure and stuff. But like, a decision either way there, you're not going to complain, are you? Like, you can see, you can make an argument for both of them. None of them were outstanding or did anything fucking to dominate the other one or really change the momentum of the fight in their favor. It was nip and tuck, like. So I don't really have a problem with the decision. Vasquez wasn't getting it anyway. You should have known that anyway from the start. I wouldn't mind seeing Vasquez in with your man that lost to fucking Osaki Foster last week as a good kind of fucking roll back for the two of them. That'd be a good fight, I think.
I see Cordina's already trying to poo-poo that potential unification fight.
I bet he is.
With Foster.
I
ain't made no money off that fight. Well, you know, sometimes you're not going to make. I mean, what's he going to do? Who's he going to make the money from? Actually, just out of curiosity, we'll just build the rankings here, super featherweight. Who is Eddie going to get him?
Lee Wood.
Right.
Lee Wood and Cordina, I guess that's a big British Isles fight, big domestic class. It'd definitely do numbers here. It'd be good for drumming up interest for DAZN, I guess, and subscribers. But the fight to make is Osaki Foster and Cordina, like. And I think Osaki Foster would be wrong for Cordina. I think he'd probably beat him, but I'd like to see that fight, and I'd like to see the two losers for that for Hernandez from last week and Vasquez. I think that'll be a fucking cracker fight, comeback fight for Hernandez as well. Like,
So
Hernandez needs a little break, I think, after that fight.
I was going to ask Rob.
He doesn't have to fight him tomorrow. Like, what do you fucking have? You know
Just
what I mean?
quickly on Usyk last week, I did watch it, but I watched it with no commentary on at all. I know you guys had your say on it. I didn't think the fight was close at all, to be honest. I thought Foster boxed his ears off, man. I thought. What did you?
I thought
Hernandez was the house fighter, wasn't it? So when he was landing, it was like fucking Hernandez is right,
fair enough.
You know what I mean? But Foster was fucking. Yeah, I thought Foster was schooling him at times.
I thought he boxed his ears off. Yeah.
I think he beat Cordina off the jab. Be honest with you, I think he'd have enough for him off the jab, and then if it got ropey down the line, I think he'd have enough to get him out of there if they started exchanging fight. But Cordina has shown punching power in the. I don't want to go into the fucking. Cordina, I feel like is getting a lot of fucking flack just because of Conor Benn. We don't know nothing about Cordina. You know, you can make assumptions. I thought he looked big last night at the weight as well, but so that's my own fucking cynical suspicions coming into things as well. But I don't want to fucking cast aspersions on the guy. He hasn't popped for anything. So, but I think just style wise, I think your man Foster be too much for him, and that's maybe why he's fucking not wanting that fight yet. But I'm sick of this shit, with fighters like Andy said, oh, that fight doesn't make me any money. Oh, the only fucking fighters that should be able to say shit like that are Mayweather back in his prime, and fellas who are commanding pay-per-view numbers, and Canelo and the likes, that they get to do what they want. Exactly, that they're basically running the fucking sport for everybody else, and they're allowing fighters to come up on their undercards and become stars in their own right and stuff like that. They can call the shots, but Joe Cordina, who the fuck is he to say that if I start go and make the fucking unification?
This is what I don't get, Rob. This is what I don't get. I mean,
fighting on his own, by the way.
He's mentioned Lee Wood there, but Lee Wood, I don't know if he's coming up and weight for that fight, but it's not going to end up that much.
He can't make 100
okay, he's coming up weight
anymore.
He's coming up weight, but let's be honest here. How much more money is that fight going to earn Joe Cordina?
Probably, yes. I get the bit, I get the business. I get the business. Fucking, it's a big domestic fight, but the fight to make in the division is, and I don't feel like Saki Foster should get fucking frozen out for doing his job. You get me? It's like the fighters have too much power. We need Don King back. That's what we need. We need Don King back.
He's here, Rob. He's not gone.
No, but we need him back in the fucking. We need him in the streaming universe. This is where the fucking sport is going. We need Don King.
That's where he was. He wanted
KingVision.tv, man.
Stream his fight last night.
Rob the fucking fighters and put good fights on. That's what we want. We don't give a shit about Jamal Charlo sitting on a fucking gold throne with fucking 45 Ferraris outside having fought fuck all. We need Don back to rob the fighters and make good fights.
I'll tell you right now, if that's Cordina's excuse or reasoning, no call it excuse, if that's his reasoning for no fighting Shaki Foster because it doesn't make dollars, doesn't make sense, then it's a clear duck. It's what it is, right? It's all it is. Well, Shaki Foster would be the easiest fight to make for the guys, isn't it? As far as I'm concerned. I mean, the guy's been on the road.
Foster to keep him out the road, hasn't he?
Maybe he has. He's been on the road, done the business.
King of the road.
But I don't know, mate.
He's done well for himself, Foster, hasn't he, really? Considering them 2 losses.
Exactly, the 2 losses. Is to take his career abroad, I believe. I think he fought in Mexico for a number of fights and that as well. Got his opportunity against, was it Ray Vargas? Done the business. Done his apprenticeship in that as well.
That's why you like him. He beat Ray Vargas.
Beat Yakubov in Dubai on a Probellum card.
Yep, he's a problem. Absolute problem. And obviously, the way he went about his business last week was just phenomenal.
He's going to have to fight Yakubov again, isn't he? Because I think he's fighting for the mandatory position next month against somebody.
Is he?
The guy he already beat. I think he's called Yakubov. Apologies if he's not, if he's listening.
Another thing as well is you just need to wonder what's going to happen with the PBC fighters come the end of the year and that. You know what happens with them? They become free agents. Does the fights become more easily readable? Readily madeable, available to make it made or something like that. I don't know.
They're saying Netflix were looking at making a PBC fight or something. I don't know whether that's true.
Seriously.
But back on 130 pounds, I mean, there's a lot that.
No, the Netflix thing is real. It's Jake Paul is running an event that he's bringing a PBC card across the Netflix, which
there you go,
fucking really would be game change because it'll be on a streamer platform that actually everybody has and wants to watch.
Who wants to watch Jake Paul now? Is he not done? He's his own material.
I'm talking about the PBC. If they put the PBC on Netflix, that's fucking Netflix and chill, baby. Do you know what I mean? Everyone can watch it.
It's probably not going to be available in your region.
It'll be available in my region. Don't worry about it. Whether it's on Netflix or not.
That's going to be you beefing next, Matty, with Netflix now.
don't have.
He's taking down empire after empire.
Steve, I don't have any fucking beefs left in me.
And you think it says BBC fighters transfer
point.
to Fire Stick? Sorry, Matty, I cut you off.
That's fine. That's quality comment right there. I don't know, man. 130 pounds is getting pretty good there, and I mean, you still have Hector Luis Garcia in there. I think his belt might only be like a regular belt or something shit like that. I think Abraham Nova has looked a lot better since he's moved up in weight as well. You got my boy Otar Anoshin floating around there, who could. God, he would make a great style fight with any of these guys. You got Lee Wood moving up. You have Mauricio Lara that couldn't make weight against Lee Wood. Is he done at featherweight? Is he going to 130? That's an interesting player. 130 and 135 are totally stacked, and I still, that's without mentioning the big dog, Emmanuel Navarrete. So it's a lot of good fights that can be made there. They just have to fucking make them.
And to circle back around to where we started, I think, although I'm a bit confused now, what about Cordina? Where does he fit into this picture, Matty, after his win on Saturday night?
I think that he is probably, like, whether he holds a belt or not, he's probably on the bottom end of the top 5 of the division.
He is a good fighter. He's well schooled, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is a good fighter, and I think Vasquez was really gave a good performance in there last night as well. It was a close fight that I thought I leaned Cordina on. I thought that anywhere from 116, 112 Cordina all the way to 115, 113 Vasquez was fair. Thought there was, 3 pretty swingy rounds in there with the rest of them being reasonably clear. So it was, the home fighter, kind of home fighter, guy that was closest to his home one.
Yeah.
So it was a good enough fight. And, Vasquez, another one of those guys that he might not have it fully at championship level. He might come up just short, but he'd be a great gatekeeper, and his style definitely builds for some exceptional fights. I look forward to seeing him again.
Andy, from swing rounds to big swings in the ring, Sivanathe Nontshinga. He looks like one for the future for Eddie at the 108-pound division. He got iced by Adrian Curiel. He came in with 4 knockouts. He left with 5.
Fucking hell, mate. Adrian Curiel was just one of those guys, mate, who just couldn't get over the line in that as well. And the South African was slightly touted coming up, and he's basically he stepped to his left with a jab, and then the guy just timed it. He took his head off the line, just threw the right hand right over the jab, caught him square, fucking ice, lights out. Referee didn't even give him a count. Maybe I think he might have deserved it, possibly. Just count to 10, just fucking, But who knows, mate? Just properly done in. God knows what happens to him now, mate. He's going to have to rebuild after that one, unfortunately, which is a shame because he's been through all those. Those shitty titles, international belt defenses, and get himself into position. Finally done it. Went away to Mexico, won the title, and then he's come to Monaco and got iced in 2 rounds. He's a good boxer, as I say. That maybe he's just got unlucky there. He stepped to the side there and got caught square, but it was a big knockout. Like
another in a long line of lanky guys in their weight class who keep their chins in the air, who get starched. It happens.
What's the other one? There was one I can remember years ago.
Sebastian Fundora. Yeah.
There was one who got iced in Monaco as well. I fucking forget his name at this point.
Oh, that was when Golovkin knocked a sheet out of the fucking ring?
Yeah, it was the same card, I think, mate, but it was one of the lower weight classes. I'd need to find it. When you go, but it's it was a proper bad knockout.
We have a comment from Joe Burns before we go on to that, Matty. I know Ramla Ali was on the undercard getting a revenge. This was the girl who iced her, wasn't it? Any interest in that female contest?
I didn't even end up watching that one. I didn't
realize
how early it was going to be on. I'm shocked that Ali got the win on that one, though, because, Yulisa, what the hell is her last name? Yulisa Alexandra, whatever, Guzman.
Yes.
She not only, beat Ali and stopped her, she fucking pummeled her,
which you don't usually see.
Fight.
Yeah, you might now with these new 12 rounds.
Yeah, and she I'm surprised that she lost, because it just seemed like, if you're getting whacked around a boxing ring that way in a women's fight, you might just be a shade on the chinny side. But Ali apparently was able to pull it out. So good on her. That was as big of a shock for me as anything last night, even though those odds were tighter than the Notchinga fight by quite a bit, because the first fight was just so fucking conclusive. It's like the equivalent of Spence coming back and pulling a victory over Crawford. I mean, he was just dismantled and then win the next one. That'll shock the fucking world.
M. Lithgow's contribution to this fight, he says, am I the only one that thinks Ramla Ali looks like David Hay without the goatee? So some next level analysis going on in the chat there. We'll maybe move on, shall we?
Player cards could end up in the trouble.
In the hexagonal.
Octagon. End up in the octagon.
David Hayes says, I need some hijab for my knob.
Oh, dear me.
I like the way he is fucking going about his business there, though, by the way. Why should he be fucking forced into fucking society's constraints on monogamy, putting this fucking pressure on the chap's back when he wants to be with multiple women at the same time? Let him live his life. Go fucking more of that. That's what I'm campaigning for, more of that from the Haymaker.
Well, let's be honest there, Rob. The people that are bitching about it are typically bitching about it because they can't even find one woman who will fuck them.
Yeah.
True.
1983, you sad virgin. Anyway, moving on. Joe Burns has sent in a comment. Rob, you might want to address this one. He was talking about the Cordina fight. He sent it in on patreon.com/Boxing Asylum. He said, is it time the promoters started sacking off these warm-up or tick-over fights? With what happened to Cordina last night happens way too often. Fight every 6 to 8 months, have a tick-over, and the fighter ends up being better than you thought, and they haven't prepared properly, thinking it would be an easy night's work. The fighter doesn't win in that situation. If he blows him, the opponent, out in a few rounds, everyone would say, what was the point in that? And if it ends up being a close fight like last night, their stock goes down. What do you think about these activity levels, Rob?
I think it just comes down to the promoters, doesn't it? Like, they have to match them against guys on the roster. Now, I don't know what the fucking DAZN roster is like at that. I couldn't give a fuck at that weight, like, but Eddie's in a position with DAZN that he has to protect his assets. So any domestic ticket seller, that's why they're talking about Lee Wood, like, because Cordina's not going to do a thing on the road. Maybe the Shaki Foster fight probably doesn't make as much money commercially for DAZN or whatever. So he's trying to protect his assets, but I didn't think, like, going into the fight, I kind of thought Vasquez was, I didn't know much about him, but just off his record and that, like, I thought he was going to be a tough operator. So I didn't necessarily view it as a takeover fight. I thought it was a legit challenge, like, so we know the crack with the zone, like, there's no fights for you. There's no fights on there either, like, so fucking it is what it is.
There aren't
like,
anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So now they're the leading network in the sport. Things are on the up. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Things are on the up for DAZN. Good luck to them, I say. Valle was fighting. I can't remember the opponent, Matty, but I said I would remind you, and I'm reminding you now.
Yeah, Yukasta Valle fought defending her 105-pound belts last night against Annabelle Ortiz, who's been in with some pretty damn good operators in the past. A little bit of a sloppy fight at times, but Valle winning it convincingly by 10, 8, and 9 points, respectively, on all the judges' scorecards. It was in her home country of Costa Rica. The crowd really goes crazy for her, apparently, Steve. Apparently, she's actually got hell of a brand down there with Yukasta Valle perfume and all sorts of stuff. And she's like I said before, she's a good-looking gal. Got a lot of star power. You can tell.
Spraying it everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, she's missing, dropping the ball, not having the nickname Big Shot, though, isn't she? Who do you think you have, Frankie Valli, or some kind of big shot?
Jesus Christ. Anyways, Ortiz at times, she's just a little bit of a sloppy fighter, held a lot, but she kind of wants to kind of rough you up inside. Valle, though, landed easily the cleaner shots down the stretch. Maybe the cards were a little bit wide at the end of the day. I thought Ortiz probably won 2, maybe 3 rounds out of there. But this at this point in time, we're really just trying to get a Yukasta Valle Sinisa Estrada unification. That's the fight that everybody wants to see. One of the very few fights that actually has a little bit of interest for women's boxing that could actually sell a bit. But honestly, neither of them looked very good in their last outings. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe some of the shine is off of it. But, I kind of watched in the recent fights, Valle always seems to throw her right with just a little bit of a loop to it. And Estrada fighting for both sides, having so much variety in her shots. I just see her finding a way to get inside of that right hand of Valle's if they fight. And I think that could end up being the story of the evening should that ever happen. And hopefully it does happen. Also on that card, I thought an interesting guy people want to keep their eye out for. He's been out of the ring for 2 years, but his name is Santiago Dominguez. This was his 25th fight, 25th victory. He got a knockout over an opponent who was a late replacement, was supposed to be on the card anyway, so he was prepared. Norberto Casco, 7-1-1 prior the stoppage, and great uppercut. There's a lot, it was only a couple of rounds, so you could only see so much out of him through that time. But I think there's something to like about this guy. I don't know that he's just another junk fighter with a built-up record. So, being on a Golden Boy card, I'm sure we'll see him again in the future. But keep your eye on this guy. He might be something. Santiago Dominguez.
Santiago Dominguez, there you are. Scribble that name down. Matty will keep an eye on him for you as well. Let's flick through a few things, then go through the chat, then get on to Makabu. We'll then get on to the action next week, of which there is sparse little, and then we'll get on to the bow of the weeks and out of here. Shout out to Jordan Short Dog White. He's come back from early career adversity to defeat, I think he's 16-1 now, defeated Jose Edgardo Garcia over the weekend, scored an absolute cracking knockout on Showbox last time. So shout out to Short Dog, big fan of him. I think he's in the kind of Shakura, Keyshawn, Crawford click as well, so he's definitely going places. Also, me and Matty love Pro Box that much. Neither of us watched the card on Wednesday night, and it was probably one of the better ones they've done since their inception. Janelson Figueroa Boca Chica, once a prospect, no more, got his second loss. He's also got a draw on his record as well, lost to Alberto Palmetta over 10 rounds. Angelo Leo, seem to remember him fighting Tremaine Davis. Excuse me, might have fought Steph Fulton as well at one point.
Steve Fulton, he fought me.
Fulton, first
lot. He knocked out Nicolas Palanco in the 9th round on Pro Box, so shout out to him. Also, Rob, this might have slipped your attention. TJ Dehaney went in against 11-0 Japethli Lamido, who's from Los Angeles in Japan over the weekend, and banged him out in a round.
Come on, TJ. The road to redemption. 2-time world champion from Ireland via Australia, via Japan. Good on him, man. Fuck me. He has, as Ozzy was saying last week, like the old have gloves will travel guys are fucking dying breed, but a couple of the lads off the sites here are keeping it going after turning over professional careers. I mean, there's him, Dara Foley, John O'Carroll.
John O'Carroll, yeah.
Who was the other guy that actually fucking Dennis Hogan?
Yeah.
Lads that
they all went down to ours, didn't they? Little Anto Connolly as well.
Yeah, basically just left here like because the arse fell out of the economy and had to go to Australia and went on the sites and fucking went to the boxes. So there's something kind of fucking old school and admirable about that. Like, and Dehaney's won a world title, hasn't he? He's won a world title.
Oh, he was a unified champ, wasn't it?
Yeah, I lost it and is still fighting out in Japan and winning against the guy who was brought in as an opponent to fight. Like, so that's kind of good. Like, for it's not going to fucking sell any tickets, but it's good. Like, it's a good story. I like that. Like, from the lads that went, like, fuck it, there's nothing for them here. And plus, professional boxing for some reason here, you couldn't have it for a long time.
You know, Rob, I mean, it's funny you mentioned that. One of the kind of cards that's underneath the radar this week is on UFC Fight Pass. And that kid from Cork, Callum Walsh, is continuing his run right now. He's currently 8-0 with 7 knockouts, taking on Ismael Villarreal, who I believe I've seen on
he's pretty good
an aforementioned Pro Box card. He looks pretty all right. Unfortunately, I just have too many fucking streaming services, so I can't get into UFC Fight Pass. So, but if anybody shoots me a link in the Nutters group that evening, I'll gladly watch it, of course. But yeah, so you keep an eye on this kid. He's coming stateside. I don't know if you maybe go in the Andy Lee direction. Maybe he'll get in with an old school trainer. We'll see what's going on.
Freddie Roach, he's training with, isn't he?
You're right. He actually is with Roach. I forgot that.
I mean, my dad used to crack up years ago about Irish fighters going to the UK instead of going to America, like, because he always thought like it was like a kind of an easier path or whatever. But just commercially, you can make more money as an Irish guy out in America, like, than you can in the UK. You know what I mean? So if he's going that road, like, that's the fucking hard way to do it. You know what I mean? In the wildcard gym, and he's impressing. So let's see. Look, it's early doors. Let's see where he does. But 8-0 is a good record, a good start for him. Like.
And you said, Rob, it makes you think there's no opportunities in Ireland and how bad it must be in Wolverhampton that everyone's going and I'm coming.
Well, I've never been, but I heard it's not nice.
See, that's it's one of those things. It's they call an externality in economics. You guys reduce the tax rate too goddamn much, and there's no good reason to fight over there now, so they have to go to poor places and punch people there.
Who started him on economics? I should have fucking left that sentence out, shouldn't I? Fuck.
Take that.
It's economics.
See, you're all you get all like prideful and sentimental about the Irish, and I'm the same with economics. It's just a point of great honor. And
get all prideful and sentimental about the Irish. Fucking pains in the arse. I have to live here. So I want to live in Spain or someplace nice. Fuck off.
Oh, I thought you were still there because you wanted to be there. I didn't have a clue.
Just can't fucking speak any other language other than that to be out of this kip.
Yeah, I thought you had an exit strategy there or something.
Oh dear. Yep. Shout out to Zekenomics. I haven't seen him in a while, but he's still on the Patreon. Where do we go from here? That's the question. Over to the Don King card. I think it was in Florida. He wasn't spotted at ringside, but Matty Don's enjoying himself. Makabu is shot to bits. He got knocked out by Noel Gavor. Me and Andy were discussing the surname earlier. He changed it, but he is the fighter that we remember. Also,
yeah, what is it really like, Miss Kenyon or
Miss Kenyon or something? Now, I was toying over the prediction league on this one. I thought, Makabu's probably going to get stopped, but I thought, well, he's usually sturdy enough at a certain level, and Gavor, McKenyon, whatever you want to call him, doesn't really punch at that level. So I went for the points, played it safe to Gavor. But he absolutely iced Makabu. He just can't hold a shot anymore.
Yeah, I didn't watch the fight, but I think the mistake in your rationality there, Steve, was, people are just big up in Badu Jack. But I mean, maybe the bigger story is that this motherfucker got stopped over 12 rounds by a former, super middleweight. And that should have been the key to understanding what the story of this fight would have been. Yeah. It looks like it's the end of the road for Makabu, and now that Jack vacated that title, we got a new WBC, I guess. Was that what that was for? WBA?
Yeah. WBC. Makabu just keeps getting chances for them, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. But anyways, yeah, we'll see where that goes. It'll be interesting to see if this cat wants to fight a guy like Opataya or CBS or Reactpor. It'd be nice to see some unifications happening.
A quick one on the undercard as well, Matty. Jonathan Guidry knocked out 43-year-old prospect, what was his name? Jesus Escalera, who was trained by your old pal, Nate Campbell.
Yes, well, yeah, there's only so much you can do with a 43-year-old who got all of his 19 fights in the last 24 months. All by knockout, though. It's not like he endured much pain, but took it up a little too late in life. He's probably looking back and wondering what could have been if he had only started at 23. I don't know what prevented him from that. Maybe it was another career. Perhaps he was a stockbroker, or he owned a small business, or maybe he was in prison for murder. I don't know, Steve, but too little, too late for Mr. Escalera, and the fisherman moves on.
Well, about 530 pounds of fucking mass in that ring there in that fight, mate. It was fucking disgraceful.
That
was a quit job as well, wasn't it? That
Escalera's uncle, Andy, was the Viper Alfredo Escalera, who you'll remember fought Alexis Arguello back in the day. So he comes from fighting stock. Doesn't look like he fights too much these days himself, though.
Well,
unfortunately, he ate him, and that's why he was alarmed.
Escalera, the one that fought Alexis, was 130 pounds. What the fuck?
Yeah. Exactly.
This dude's like 150 pounds north of that.
He could shit his uncle out in one go.
Fucking hell, man.
That family money gave someone the chance to nail an Amazonian, and they fucking took it. You probably got him one of them Norwegian broads, Andy. You know them.
Yeah. They come cheap, mate.
But I'll tell you the thing to worry about on that card, though, is that Trevor Bryan got laid out hard, stretchered out of the ring, haven't heard anything else, and he was heard saying he couldn't feel his legs.
Oh my
God!
Who was
probably his belly weighing down on him.
Trevor Bryan.
So
but see, when he got knocked out, he was on the floor for a good while. I don't know, 5 minutes or something. Mind you, he was 270 pounds, man. They wonder took a while to get up. Fucking hell.
Well, he didn't get up. He was stretchered out. He couldn't feel his legs.
Shout out to the people who stretched him out. He was in some shape, wasn't he?
So it was, and what's the cat's name? We knocked him out, Cassius Chaney.
Cassius Chaney, yeah.
Fucking Jeff Capes need to help him in the ring, man.
Waylaid the poor guy, and I mean, I feel really bad that Bryant was so messed up from the shot, because really, I think that punch that Chaney landed there is under the radar nominee for knockout of the year.
Great shot,
yeah. Vicious fucking right hand. Fuck me, right on the chin. I mean, his head bounced around like them freaking things you keep on your those bouncing heads you put on your fucking dash.
Andy, I could be completely off track here, but there's something about Trevor Bryan that tells me if he just trained, like, he hits quite neatly to the body and he sets a decent pace at a decent level. I'm not saying he's going to be a world beater. They were talking about him constantly being a world champion last night. Carl King, Don's adopted son, was on the telecast and all, but he is shit, Bryan. But at a level, if he got himself into shape, had a bit of an engine about him, I think there's potential for him to be a bit less shit.
Yeah, I suppose, mate. But the same, he's had his moment as well. He's had his WBA title, wasn't it? At one point, was it Stavern? I think it was.
Stavern, yeah. He beat Guidry as well, didn't he?
Yeah, but these are back in the days, mate, when he's like 30 pounds lighter than that. I mean, look at the state of him there last night getting knocked out. You go fucking saggy tits. I mean, this is where you need Aussie, man, to fucking come in here.
I was just thinking of Aussie the minute
fucking lay waste to this, man. The fucking state of that, man. Honestly, it looks like he just got off the couch with his saggy tits, his big belly, and then he goes and gets fucking himself absolutely ironed out of a right hand. Dropped like a fucking used Johnny, man. He just fucking, as Matty says, he got carried out the ring. It's just, what? This is what happens. You get like this. I mean, literally, his guts hanging over his waistband. This is what you get. Guys who don't train, don't take it seriously, and then they get fucked up like this, and then we've got to be concerned because you got fucking stretched out the ring. This is what happens, mate, when you don't take the fucking sport seriously enough. You get fucking badly hurt. At least the guy didn't celebrate too much. What do you call him? Mr. Cassius.
China.
He just fucking kind of walked away. So look at that.
You gotta wonder what fucking Bryant's motivation is for training when he's fucking in his overdraft for the last 5 years. He hasn't got a fucking penny off King, has he? He's waiting on that check to come in. Fucking...
I mean, he's no fought since fucking Dubois iced him. Remember, that was the one that Dubois was trying to get his money. Was that the one that Dubois was trying to get his money for? That was the one that was Don King, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Aye, that was the right, because Dubois won.
Who saw that coming?
I think he got his money back in the end, though.
Cheney looks like an old school fighter, though, doesn't he, man? He looks like a Mike Weaver or something.
John fucking Don King telling him the money's in escrow. Watch in like 10 years, we're gonna find out that like Don King's accountant's name was escrow.
Don's thrown out some IOUs, isn't he, Andy? I'll catch you again in 5 years' time, son.
Can you imagine the list of creditors when he fucking goes, mate?
Only in America.
Fucking laying claim to everything: his rings, his jewelry, all his jackets, his cars, his houses. If any of them are in his name, mind you, probably got the.
You're not getting that money. Let me tell you something. A black man in America with a fucking record of a felon who takes on the IRS and wins. And you're not getting a penny of that money, right? Forget about that money is gone. And you're not getting that, right? Just fucking accept it.
Rob, I mean, if you add all of this up, it's clear that Don King sold his soul to the devil. There is no black man that has taken the road Don King has and been left standing.
The devil sold his soul to Don King, I think.
Right? He hasn't got paid for it yet.
Only in hell.
On a serious note, though, Andy, you are right. I didn't see the Don last night unless I missed him with these little flags and all.
He was definitely there, mate. I mean, it was his 92nd birthday, I believe, yesterday, and he got treated to Cassius Chaney, knocking out a fucking gargoyle behemoth and Trevor Bryant, mate. Hopefully into retirement. That's an absolute outrageous. I mean, the whole card was just shit. You know,
Guidry got the win. Guidry. They announced him as a former UBO heavyweight champion. I'm a fan of that.
No, that's what we were talking about, mate. But he came up short against Trevor Bryant. Fucking hell.
The United Boat Organization.
Can you see? He went the hard road for that. He won the UBU title before that. Sit.
And obviously as well, the main event, I'm sitting here looking at this guy's name. I'm sitting, I don't recognise this guy who Makabu's fighting. Who the fuck is he? So I'm looking through his fucking record. I'm sitting, so look, he's fought Bredis, he's fought Kalenga, he's fought fucking Isaiah Thomas. I must have seen one of his fights. He's fought Steven Simmons. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Noel Gavor. So I have no idea when this guy actually changed his name. But anyways, did anybody think that first knockdown in round 2 against Makabu? Didn't look like there was much on that shot, was there?
No, that's what I'm saying. He can't hold a shot anymore. He's completely shot to bits. The
And then
bomber left him shaken, I think, since
Yeah,
that fight.
the bomber stole his prime out of him there that night, mate. With that left took for the gods. Bomber fucking called it fish eyes and everything, mate. It was glorious. He turned.
That was when he was bearable. Remember?
No, it wasn't, mate. No, it wasn't, because I tell you right now, the whole boxing sphere was willing or saying that he was going to get fucking ironed out.
It was a good win for the. It was a good win for him, wasn't it? Like it was.
A good win, but he got dropped as well. I think was it? It was a 4th-round knockout.
It was in Everton. What Everton football game?
Aye.
I was over in Albufeira in Portugal watching this, absolutely fucking steaming, rooting for him. So I must have been steaming.
Sunday night it was, but I'm certain Tony got dropped in that fight.
Oh, he did, yeah, he did. Yeah.
Just looking at the evidence at hand, I gotta say this makes it look like Tabiso Mchuno punches like a bitch.
Hey, good wee fighter that, by the way, when he was at his peak age. Like underrated.
Well, when he fought Eddie Chambers, he was pretty sharp.
Well, that was his kind of
12 years ago, 10 years ago.
That was his breakout fight, though, mate. I remember me and Kurt watching that fight way back in the day, and we were like, "Fuck, hey, this guy," and then we kind of like mentioned him on the pod a wee bit, and then he's.
He gave Usyk decent work for 3 or 4 rounds. He was just too small.
I remember when he won. I think he won the title against Makabu, possibly. It was he was winning the fight in Africa, and it was never aired anywhere. But they wait a week before it appeared.
Yeah, he couldn't find the fight anywhere.
And he got fucking iced in like 11th round or whatever it was. Yeah.
Who the fuck was that against?
Eddie Chambers. Eddie Chambers, another one, dropped the ball with the nickname, isn't he? He called himself Fast Eddie Chambers, but he's a boxer. Like, he should have called himself Eddie Torture Chambers. Like, it would have been fucking unbelievable. What's wrong with these guys? Like,
should have been Sloth Eddie Chambers, man.
Torture Chambers.
Fuck's sake. Sorry, Andy. Yeah, so Makabu, I think he shot to bits, it's fair to say.
Why, without doubt, mate. But as long as he's tied to Don King and Don King owns his ass, he'll be back in the saddle soon enough.
Anything else, Matty, from that card that you enjoyed? The commentary team were good, weren't they? Christy Martin, and as I said, Carl was on as well.
I didn't watch shit. I just read the results and watched that knockout.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, at least they all ended mercifully quickly.
I'm a hell of a bullshitter, Steve.
He's like Hater Dave Lowback. Do you remember that time, Andy, whenever
Hater was great, wasn't he? Hater was great, man. He was fucking brilliant.
I wish he'd come back, man. He was brilliant, Hater.
Remember, he used to like impressions of English people, and they were all like, "Would you like to have a cup of tea?" Right? It was all like really fucking.
He got married that man, so
he's loved up in here.
He's tapping that ass every night, man.
He's got a beautiful wife and a good job. Why are you hanging around with this fucking motley?
Yeah, but fucking so do I, and I'm still here, aren't they?
The thing is, as I say so, but he's into like he's a photographer or something like that, or he's into cameraman that. So you can imagine with the hot wife and the cameras and that, man.
Yeah,
so talking about bringing out the ring lights on a Sunday night.
He never watched any boxing even at his peak, though, is he? If he's
he was just making up when he came on.
He was more the UFC supporter. Dave was one of those guys who broke away from boxing. I mean, like years ago. He hated the sport, mate.
Well, he fitted right in because he always had like the anti-narrative, like, didn't he? Like, he was fucking straight to the point. Hater Dave, like, well, his name was Hater Dave. I guess the clue was in the fucking handle there. But I liked him when he was on, man. He was good, Hater Dave, and Gabe was good as well. If he'd ever come back,
would love to see Gabe.
I still think. I wonder if he's dead. I still don't know if he's dead.
He might be. Tell you who's alive. Take Ames. He's in the chat there. Oi, oi, he says.
Yeah, I take Ames. We did the Lord's work there with what do you call them? YouTubers and all that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the content we need these days, mate.
The misfit scene.
Yep. Do they have showers? Any of them?
Shite.
Ask him you need to ask me if I have a shower before the fight.
Well, talking of shower shites, let's see who else is in the chat.
Just probably go on one of their OnlyFans to see him having a shower before the
fight. Yeah, James says the Bellew of the Week didn't get uploaded separately last week. Yeah, I know I was away, but I'm going to put it up tomorrow, so don't worry.
Hey, Steve. Hey, man.
Get a life, Steve.
The Bellew of the Week wasn't uploaded that time. Fucking hell.
He's on my ass, man. Not Mrs. Wellington on that account.
Oh my god.
Steve, you get a fucking life, mate. You get that CD right now.
Get that fucking Bellew of the Week clip separately so fellas don't have to fucking just skip on their phone 10 seconds to go to the end of the show to listen to it. You fucking monster.
keep the people waiting like that, mate. And not just that, mate. You actually wait until the morning.
I know.
You're actually waiting to I've actually done this week's show before we even put out next week's fucking value of the week.
Someone said, "Do you shower before the pod, lads?" Pens. Oh fuck!
After my test
shower
run,
after it.
After my test run last week, Steve, I got to tell you, I think that you should count down the value of the weeks.
Yeah, I should actually. I heard that went down well. Smash it in nicely.
And this week's letter is from Springfield, Missouri.
Oh.
Talking of meaningless trivia, actually, my mother was watching Catchphrase. Do you remember? It's not with Roy Walker anymore; it's with somebody else. And the lesser spotted bomber was on this episode. She was, there's a boxer on here, Stephen. I was like, oh, right, is there? No, there he was, and I was like, oh my god,
Sunday.
You can't get away from him, can you?
How did the Catchphrase fucking talent scout manage to fucking pin down Tony Bellew for that appearance? I wonder. Must have been very difficult for him seeing as he's out of the line now. He's on Catchphrase, yeah, mate, Mr. Chips.
That Bin Laden and Madeline McCann on next week.
Yeah.
Every time he thinks he's out, they just rope him back in.
Which one is Catchphrase? Is that the fucking survey said one?
It's good. No, it's good. That's no, that's the
other one. Roy Walker.
Yeah,
Roy Walker
one. Yeah.
It's good, but it's not a catchphrase.
I thought he was only faking being Irish like that Jerry Adams.
What's interesting is it's the exact opposite of the show toss term.
Oh, there you go. You're not a fan of the old Catchphrase, Matty? Do you have it in the United States?
No. I don't know what the fuck you guys
don't know what you're missing.
About.
You're paying for fucking all that shit. You need to be paying for Catchphrase.
Oh, Family Fortunes, Rob, is the one you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, I love a bit of that. Les Dennis doing Mavis fucking impressions from 1986. How did he get Amanda Holden? Like, that was a fucking joke, wasn't
it? He at one point in his life, mate, he actually made her go giddy at the knees.
That's crazy, man.
Incredible, man. It just shows you anybody. It just shows you when you up your game, mate. Anything's possible.
Just have to have a bit of something about you, don't you?
You just can't, mate. But hang on, mate. Somebody else can maintain it. Les Dennis couldn't.
Les Dennis, no, he peaked too early.
Peaked too early, mate. Aye.
He was like Leon Spinks making his debut. And it was all downhill from
there. Family Fortunes, Matty. I know you have that, but it's called something else, isn't it?
Family Feud is called, isn't it?
Oh,
Richard Dawson.
Feud.
Yeah. I used to watch Family Feud. I don't.
So it's
the same shit.
Say what you see. Nods.
Yeah. Feel like we have strayed on this Sunday evening.
We're doing a Phoenix night. We're doing a Phoenix Nights Asylum, right? That's the fucking opportunity today. Get Ozzy on. He's from Charlie.
If you want one of the most
coming in your ears,
if you want one of the most fucked up things that's ever happened on a game show, go to YouTube and search Wheel of Fortune Clam Digger.
Sounds like it's got a lot of potential.
You gotta see it. One of them things that you're like, oh, what do you know?
Oh god, how am I going to segue into Harlem?
Stop, you'll have the fucking comments going mad when you relax.
Interpol about us again shortly.
Yeah, Interpol.
Right, let's give a shout out to the chat.
I'm just waiting for the day to come and try to compromise me, and I take the money. Yeah, come on, like I'm fucking ready to be compromised. Come on, fuck's sake.
Oh dear. Slow beat for boxing, says Chris Butler. Take Ames is here. Tom Smith. That sounds like a made up name, Tom.
Yes, Dennis Gail Platt. Oh, my dad used to say that fucking Martin Platt was on danger money for having to kiss Gail Platt on fucking Coronation Street.
Oh. Mate, that gee, the Blues drip that one, eh?
Oh, fucking hell.
Oh, dear. Sully D's here. Shout out to him, Andrew Thickett. AP, we've got James. Will you stand 86? Will you listen to the end? That's the question. Cedric Sniffs here. Lithgow 1983. Matt Butters. Alex Bellotti. That's a fancy surname, isn't it? Bellotti. Who else have we got? MB. Ronnie Hussein. Shout out, Ronnie. He's got his merch. He's going to send us a pic of his t-shirt. Good lad. The Boxing Asylum's there. That's us. Hit the like while we're scrolling up. Terry Woodfine there.
Seeing as we're on a slow week.
Go on.
Remember, speaking of me dad's fucking singers, you remember that brewed aquatonic ad years ago, no? And there's a
Yes.
fucking like Spanish one. She like jumps out of the sea, and the man sprays Budak tonic on himself, and she comes running out of the ocean. She comes up and starts kissing the face off him. Me and my dad were watching that ad one day, and I turned around to him and I said, "I think I'm going to get some of that brewed aquatonic." And he goes, "Won't work." And I goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Won't work." And I goes, "Why?" And he goes, "I've been buying your ma Special K for years."
Fuck's sake. This is like the off the air segment now, isn't it?
Oh, sorry. I couldn't. I had to fucking let it out. The bastard. Oh, fucking. That's why I like this. Fuck's sake.
Oh, we do have a laugh. During the show and after as well. Right, let's get on to the rest of the action before Value of the Week, and then we shall exit out of here. I did tease this one earlier, dangle this carrot, Matty, so to speak. Harlem Eubank in action next weekend against Timo Schwarzkopf. We've got Sultan Zorbek against TBA. We've got Roman Fury against TBA. Tom Welland in his debut against TBA. Harvey Dykes also making his debut. And Lerone Richards has gone over to Wasserman Entertainment on this Friday evening.
Yep. TBA, the hardest working man in boxing. I literally have no opinions about this shitty card.
Trash bin ass. That's what that fucking stands for.
Set
Get
fire
in the bin
there.
with that shit.
I wouldn't care about this if it was happening in my own country. I wouldn't care about this if it was happening in my own city.
I wouldn't care if it was happening in my fucking backyard, mate. I should fucking close the blinds.
You'd be like, bitch, I'm trying to sleep.
Andy be selling pizzas for £6 out the fucking back.
What the
With
fuck,
our own
mate?
riches on the fucking card.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
Phone the mates would
People that come for the pizza.
No love for Schwarzkopf. It wasn't Schwarzkopf, Andy. Wasn't that some kind of hair product or something back in the
Means
day?
black head, literally.
I
literal
think so.
translation,
It's
isn't
some
it?
sort of kind of like some sort of shampoo or something like that.
I think so.
Well, I would know about it. Like
He's never been stopped. He's from Germany. He lost to Arim Fannyman, who
What?
before
Aye.
he had two
on.
fights with Gift Bolo, one over in South Africa. He lost to Chris Van Heerden. This isn't great, is it? Let's be honest.
Nah,
I
don't know,
love
mate.
Gift Bolo's one of the greatest fucking boxing names of all time. That's up there with Kid Gavilan and that. That's old school. I like that. Like
He hasn't
Gift
got a
Bolo.
10-round win over Junior Witter though, but it must be said that it was a fucking washed, beyond washed version of Junior Witter.
Junior was playing the Sudoku. I told you that, didn't I? I met him years ago in the airport. He was fucking buying a Sudoku, and your man that was with him was like, I think it was Michael Bisping when I look back, because they might know each other, wouldn't they? From Sheffield, but it was like I met them. I was doing a show in Canada, and I was getting a connector fight. The next minute, Junior Witter was beside me. I'm looking at him. I was like, "Oh, hey, Junior Witter." I was like, "Yeah." Next minute, his mate comes over. He's like, "No, the fucking Sudoku, Junior."
Well, his fight with Junior Witter, Andy, even though he was washed to shit, one of the cards was a draw.
Yeah, but also one of the cars, mate, was 98-91.
Oh yeah, it's a bit like last night then. For fuck's sake.
So yeah, the other one 96-94. So definitely a bit of cooking going on there. One was making sure that the homeboy was getting it.
AP said Wasserman is the Koch records of boxing. If you know, you know. I know that's a fucking very, very, very good analogy. And whoever in the chat said, was I listening to Cassadade? Yes, I definitely was listening to Cassadade.
There you are, confirmation. Roman Fury's making his debut. Looks pretty capable. I can't string anything else out of that show. I'm just going to have to move on, unfortunately. But I don't think it's getting any better, Andy, to be honest. We've got Newcastle Arena next Saturday evening. Looks like it's going to be a quiet weekend for us, thankfully. We can watch the football and relax.
Who's fighting in this?
Shabazz Masood is going in against Jose San Martin. And Matt Dickinson is going in against not Les Dennis, but Grant Dennis.
I can remember Eddie actually boasting about his run of shows towards the end of the year, man.
Okay.
They have been absolutely fucking trash.
Is
And
Jose San
set
Martin
fire
from
there.
Spain?
Let me just check, actually. He's 34. No, he's from Colombia. It's called El General.
I think that might mean the general, Steve.
He's
I'm
fought
not
a few-
fucking Duolingo here, but I think that's what that means.
he's
Get
fought a
something, we'll
few
probably
decent
get some sort of
fighters, to be
accidental
fair.
value off his card or something like by accident, you know. But
Yeah, as Matty says, he's fought decent fighters there, Matt. He fought Murcio Lara. He did get knocked out, though.
He's the best Colombian to come to Newcastle since Faustino Esprilla.
That's class. Well, he went into the 12th round against Emmanuel Navarrete 5 years ago, so he does have decent form.
The best Colombian ever coming to Newcastle got cut with something else before anybody else in Newcastle got to try it.
Yeah, there's a few Newcastles about, Matty. I've been to most of them, I think.
There's a Newcastle, Colorado, straight down I-70. Play golf there. Nice course.
There you are. Recommendation for you, Andy. What about Shabazz Masood?
I didn't play golf, mate. That's for fucking wankers. Sorry, Matty.
I used to play. The boys stopped bringing me because I was good at the driving, but all the in-between shots, when you have to fucking hit, I used to be terrible at them, and I threw the golf bag in the ditch one night and went and left in the van and stopped to ask me to come.
I ain't got the patience for it, mate. I remember fucking hitting the 7-iron and stopped. He'd right after fucker. I was like, bollocks, dude. I just walked right off the course, mate. Just left the clubs and everything, just walked right off it. I said, this game is shite.
It's a fucking stupid sport. You're right, man. Look at the stars of that sport.
It's not a fucking sport. That's why you're looking at it wrong. It's a game. It's a game.
Look at it. Like, it's like Rory McIlroy. Would you piss off, man? Like the most uncharismatic fucking schleps. I can't be bothered with it.
I can remember one of them. I forget. He's British, I'm sure. He's English, sorry. But I remember he was complaining that he bought something like 12 televisions for his house, and he's complaining that 2 didn't work. He's on fucking Twitter telling us about it. I'm like, who gives a fuck if you got 12 tellies, mate? I don't give a fuck if 2 didn't work or no. Go take it back.
yeah, fucking rich bastard problems. Fuck off.
Fucking Jesus, man. It's a bit like the time. Remember when Floyd would kick about with his laptop trying to show the troops fighting Afghanistan, fucking his exotic car collection. What a wanker. Oh, I've run out of Wi-Fi. I need to get the signal back. Fucking dick. Then they ball game the signal
Remember
back.
when he was on to the troops and he was going out with your one, Miss Jackson, and then she left him for Nelly, but like he was in the kitchen, he was like showing his bird to the troops, getting them all riled up. He's like, hey, look, hey, Miss Jackson, Miss Jackson.
Oh dear. Oh yes, good luck.
Good
luck to Shabazz Masood. I think
that's Newcastle man.
He's enjoyed himself. Sorry, Matty, were you going to add something in there?
No, I was asking. Generally, that chick left Mayweather for Nelly. I didn't know that.
Oh, she's gone. She's long gone, Smasher. She was replaced in some of the 24/7s. Remember, he had a kind of a haram of girls who were definitely interested in his personality that he used to fucking just bring around for the 24/7s when he was like fighting Maidana and that. Like he'd have like just warm up, like fucking just sitting on the couch beside him. But Miss Jackson was the girl for a while, but eventually she just got sick of his shit and found another rich guy that wasn't an asshole. But Nelly's back with Ashanti now. Any fucking celebrity gossip that you want to keep up on, I'm your man. Yeah. And Ashanti, by the way, good lord. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, fucking Rob's an inquirer this week, yeah.
I know so much shit that I can't fucking make any money. I know so much shit that I can't make any money out of. It's ridiculous between boxing and music. I know so much fucking worthless shit that's why I'm on here fucking spouting it every Sunday.
There's this intersection of boxing, hip hop, and pussy where Rob could just go on for hours.
That's the trifecta, isn't it?
Fucking hand me a joint and watch it fly, buddy.
Well, listen, I know which one I like the best. But we can't have an asylum for it.
Oh dear. We take the pussy asylum. Final one for you, Andy.
Make those t-shirts, Danny Young.
God, makes me think of the in-betweeners when they went to Greece.
Oh, fuck me. Which is just how you describe that chat.
Over in Russia, we have Rajab Butayev is in action tomorrow, actually. I don't know when this card's kicking off, Andy, but he's going in against Fazlidin Gaib Nazarov from Uzbekistan. He once lost to Michael Fox. This is a Russian card that escaped my attention until Matt Butters reminded me of it, Andy. Had it garnered any of your attention this week?
No, really, mate. I had seen it. I think I remember mentioned it last week that he was due to fight in the ring. Obviously, we're talking about the weight division at some point, I think it was, and we mentioned him. Just good to see him back, actually. I mean, he is a tough fighter. He hasn't fought since the Stan Ellis fight. I'm just checking it now. What date was that? April 2022. Fucking hell. So, yeah, it's good to have him back. So hopefully he stays active. I don't know what the situation is in terms of PBC or whatever and that, but hopefully he's maybe the guys who's maybe got his contract freed up and he's now free to fight. I dare say we'll catch it, mate, at some point, but it doesn't hold any much interest, to be fair. I'm just trying to look through the card just now, see if there's anybody else.
Hassan Boyd does 5 knockouts. He's reasonably entertaining. I think he's in against an African guy.
Another one, mate. He's been pro since 2019, 5 fights. Another one's been flitting back and forward between that and the pro-ams and that as well, mate.
But he does nod off, so that's his favour.
So, but he was fighting in the the Asian Games there for Uzbekistan like 2 or 3 months ago, whatever it was.
Oh, right, okay.
So he's still flittering back and forward between that and the amateurs and that. I mean, he won the IBA World Championships back in April time. So he is active as such, just isn't active as a bloody pro.
No activity. Anything else, Matty? Excuse me, that I might be missing for next weekend? There's the
please, no, Matty. Come on.
There was the only other thing that there was, if somebody gets bored enough to watch it, there's a card that's going to be on DAZN from Long Beach. It just looks like it's a bunch of prospects on there. There was one on there that was a 6-rounder that looked kind of decent on paper, and that's between Malik Roshan Birdsong and Jose Vargas Quintana. So that'll be Saturday on Long Beach. It's going to be headlined by a vacant women's title fight. I can't say I've seen either of those gals fight. And Fernando Vargas is on there. I don't know if it's any relation. Nothing much going on there, but just a little bit to wet your whistle if you so must.
There we are. Anything to add, Rob, before we go on to Value of the Week, or should we shuffle on?
I'd like to go to see a fight in Long Beach, I think.
Yeah, I'd say it'd be lovely.
Yeah. But apart from that, no. Let's move on.
Let's move on indeed.
Oh, one of the listeners said Ashanti or Aaliyah in their prime. I'll just answer this before we go on. Ashanti I prefer, but Aaliyah had a thing for a fellas called Rob Kelly, so I don't know. I might have a fucking better chance, you know, that way. Like, but obviously, rest in peace, Aaliyah and all that.
Didn't she die before she was 18?
It was a fucking air crash or something like that. No, she was in the early 20s or something.
She wasn't 18, man.
Oh, relax. No, the story was R. Kelly fucking when she was under.
No, see, he married her when she was 14. That was a joke, man.
Yeah.
Let's not fucking explain it. It's the fucking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Watch Chuckwu come out of the woodworks. Didn't happen.
It's a bit early for Chuckwu. 5 to fucking 10, he comes on, doesn't he?
Yeah. We have
what did I miss?
I think we're going to miss Chuckwu tonight. Oh dear. Right, let's go on to Value of the Week for episode 547. Rob is here, Matty's here, Andy's here, Steve's here as well. We'll get to 10 o'clock if it kills us. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's see here then what we're going to play. We have a couple of videos to play us into this episode, starting off with everyone's favourite. He's hopefully going to be back in the ring soon. We saw him recently. It's Con, and he's ready to ruin Eubank.
I will dismantle him. I will ruin him. He gets absolutely destroyed. Destroyed. There's no comeback. There will be no comeback after he fights me. When I beat him, I'll put him into an early retirement. I will put him into retirement.
What a prick. The hands down, undisputed, pound for pound, most unlikable fighter in the sport, Conor Benn. Congratulations, man. Just stop talking. You're a fucking annoying, entitled, jumped up, never did shit in the sport, asshole of a fighter. Shut your mouth and just do your talking in the ring. After fucking having the fucking boxing community on strings with your B sample and your Piers Morgan interview. Like, look at this. Like, people that are in the middle of the fucking Palestinian and Israeli conflict go on Piers Morgan. This fella's on about, I cheated, so there was times life was dark. What a fucking asshole, man. Nobody likes you. The comments are lighting him up in every single YouTube video. The boxing public are having their own fucking speak on this guy. And I don't want to disparage any fighters, really, apart from this guy, because he's a fucking dick. Shut up, man. Everybody's sick of your shit.
It's kind of like the boxing equivalent of, like, beating up an Alzheimer's patient.
He's just annoying, mate. I mean, they're fucking desperate for this Eubank fight because he's got money to pay back, got lawyers to pay for, he's got the income coming in. You know, the NFTs are not be selling too hot these days, and Eddie lost some money as well, so he'll be wanting it back. And as Take Aim says, dismantle the like button, bitches.
Good luck to Shabazz Massoud. Might have been misplaced, Andy. MB says, I thought the Shabazz Massoud fight was off.
Oh, mate, that would be tremendous.
Jesus. What is that card without that, then?
Fucking hell, Eddie is going to be... fucking...
James says, lads, the way boxing is now, you'll not make 1,000 episodes. Shocking stuff, you performing miracles.
Okay, Joe Kennedy, we're going to have to dig deep for picks for this week's Boxing Nutters Prediction League. My
Chicks
God.
would dig deep. They are. Who knows? Anyway, Conor Benn, I played that one, didn't I? Eubank has responded. He said there's obviously still some leftover juice in this kid's system and it's significantly affecting his tiny little brain. So He's definitely not happy about that, Andy. Anyway, going in on Con.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get this back and forward and that, unfortunately, mate. I mean, I think we all believe this fight will happen somewhere. It's weird. It's fucking weird. Here I am, 30 plus years later, Steve. You're about the same length as me for being a boxing fan. Rob's probably the same. I think Matty's a wee bit younger than the rest of us, but I fucking worshipped the ground his fucking dad walked on as a kid, by the way. Right? And I fucking hated Eubank. And here I am, 30 years later, and I'm fucking totally reversed on the Suns and that. I fucking hated Junior when he was coming up through the ranks, but by God, I fucking hope he pulls it off. No, just pull it off. I hope it's a fucking.
Eubank's going to stop him, man. Eubank's going to walk on this fella. Watch.
Well, here's the thing, by the way, right? Because obviously Eubank gave up a lot to get that fight made in terms of weight. What the fuck? I hope he's a wee bit more kind of stringent at the fucking negotiating table. Here, cunt.
Eubank calls the shots now. Like,
you feel positive, mate. I'm calling the shots here. How this is going to be working. You're going to be getting tested. I'm going to fucking make sure you're going to get tested, coming out your own pocket. I want to fucking see the bills for everything else. Right? You will be getting weight tested as well. Everything. You put the onus on him to make sure he's fucking clean. You're going to make that fight, and hopefully he fucking pulls it off and knocks a cunt out.
There you go. Andy has spoken. Andy, I must break. So there's some breaking news coming through, unfortunately. You know, I don't want to bring you down. We've all had a nice time tonight. We've had fun. But unfortunately, Joshua versus Wilder is off.
Ah, Steve, you bastard.
Heavyweights aren't doing it.
Oh, dearie me. What can you say, mate? Eddie know the love and the goods again.
It's starting to almost look like Eddie Hearn never ever in his life had a plan for Anthony Joshua fighting Deontay Wilder, because the first time, you will remember it, everybody will remember. People forget because Andy Ruiz derailed the fucking hype train that was Anthony Joshua, but this fella was fucking barking in the public about he's trying to make a fucking fight with Deontay Wilder while requesting proof of funds from the other side that they had the money to put up for the fight. Like, he never wanted fucking Joshua to fight Wilder, and he wants to squeeze another few quid out of Anthony when he comes out of the dark room, and he doesn't want him to put him into a dark room permanently, and that's why we're not getting this fucking Deontay Wilder fight. Eddie's culpable. I'm saying it, even Ed. Because I believe Big Meats would fight fucking Deontay Wilder. I don't think he's ducking anyone. I don't think he's even tuned in enough to be ducking anyone. I think he'd want to make the fight, but Eddie don't want that fucking fight, man. What would happen to fucking Joshua if he fought Wilder? Honestly, like,
the evaporation is about to take place, and we're not going to be there to see it because it ain't going to happen. Rick Glazer was tweeting out during the week. He said, "The worst thing that a person can be is a rat. No one likes rats because no one can trust them. Stop glorifying rats." And Boner, pound for pound, says, "If you knew of a child trafficking ring, would you alert the authorities?" And Vic says, "I don't alert the authorities under any circumstances." And then Boner says, "So if you're taking an evening walk along a wharf, there's little kids being loaded onto a barge by some goons, and the kids are saying, 'Help us, Mr. Glazer, please call the police.' You would just ignore them?" Rick wouldn't put himself into that position. He carries on, Matty. He says, "What if it's a truck? You're just walking down the street, kids being loaded into a truck." For fuck's sake, man.
If he sees a truck, he just fucking rolls under a car. He's not fucking putting himself in that position.
It's funnier because it's Glazer. He's a fucking idiot, man.
Glazer, who's not glorifying rats, and fucking a legit businessman with a fucking deep history in the sport that needs to be respected, and definitely not a shill who take money from a drug baron.
Oh dear. Yeah,
not that there's anything wrong with that if any drug barons are throwing out any money. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. Hashtag glazed.
Glassed.
Glassed, exactly.
Hashtag launder asylum.
You fucking glassed me.
Oh, a bit of it, Glazer. Someone sent this. I think it was David Palmer sent this one. Ex-footballer turned to boxing, where his first fight was in a prison canteen.
Yes.
Who's his name?
I don't know. I was trying to find out who it was. I'm not sure.
And he's wanting to sign him for Rangers. Look at
Spurs player. Spurs player.
And that's where they messed up. They think it was in a prison canteen. No, that's a fucking place, you ignorant bitches.
I asked David Farmer, sorry it was, who sent it to me. I did ask him. He hasn't responded yet. If anybody knows who that is, in the chat, let us know. But there you go. He turns up in the prison canteen. They sound surprised, Matty. They're not familiar. Talk sport with the workings of the canteen.
Fucking casuals.
No, exactly. MB said it's Richard Comey. I don't remember Richard Comey playing right back for Spurs, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. We were alerted last night that he was on the source. Oscar, I repeat, was on the source. He said, I'm calling out Bob Arum, Al Heyman, Eddie Hearn, Dimitri Salita to join me in a roundtable discussion and figure out how we give the fans the best fights possible. Rob.
Put it on Netflix.
Well, I think we just found out that they're trying to, since Salita's involved at least, that they're trying to work towards Jake Paul versus Clarissa Shields.
Oh, God.
Let's see it.
I can see it. This title could be on the line. Andy, did we find out what it was? Is this the coveted UBO belt?
I can't remember what it was, mate, but I swear to God, see the actual strap itself? It looks like it's been spray painted with that shit, with that fucking stuff glued on it. It looks like, honestly, mate, it looks like one of the things that fucking, okay, what do you call them? Elvis with the war or something like that.
It looks like a plaque of a belt.
I can't remember the name of it again, mate, but it was something fucking weird anyway.
They need to do the thing the WBC does, Andy. You know, they put all the former champions, the little faces on in the circles.
The thing is, the ones they put on that are fucking dead.
Ross
Ali,
Purity,
Robinson,
Mitch Blood Green, second shout out in the week.
Fucking hell.
Oh dear.
It's all just like Jerry McCann photo fits on the fucking pictures. It's not like real fighters.
Oh dear. Yeah, so the Don King card, they're enjoying themselves, Matty. They all got kitted out in matching t-shirts. There you are, matching shirts, rather.
They look like they're all preparing for an AIDS walk together or something.
Carol King.
That'd be odd in 2023, wouldn't it, when it doesn't exist anymore? COVID. Just fucking grow up.
That Albert Hainsworth better watch his pockets, man. Carol King will have a hand in there trying to get that wallet soon.
Rob,
sticky bastard.
Rob, I'm going to tell you the same thing that they tried to tell Tommy Morrison. Just because you don't believe that AIDS is real doesn't mean you don't have it.
Listen, you're either the Great White Hope or you're on the Great White Dope. You know what I mean? One or the other.
Okay, look at Christy Martin, man. She looks like fucking Rod Stewart sitting there.
Someone like you.
Christy Martin coming to Selly Park soon.
With the quote.
Wake up, Maggie.
Can you imagine the quote walking there? Fucking hell.
The new colour of uniform in Guantanamo says Sunny Day. Flip me. Danny Young says
I just noticed that there, actually. Probably Dungarees that they're wearing there, actually.
They call that junkyard wars over here. I know that.
Oh dear. Don King, he's doing bits. Is Don. I'm not sure who this gentleman was, but we got sent it on Twitter. VIP Promotions. The guy who sent it says, Belly of the Week for this fat blob.
There's Aussie, man. Get him on the fucking
and then the boss.
The boss.
I feel like that could very well be Butterbean about 2 months in after having a stomach staple surgery. And
I swear,
up and
if he shaved his chest and just like moved his arms together, he could have OnlyFans. Wouldn't he just cut his face out? Jesus, man.
Oh dear.
The guy looks surprised to be getting his hand raised. Like, don't, motherfucker, you should be beating this guy. Like, look at, fuck me.
Good win for him. O'Hara Davis was ripping into Tony Bellew. To watch the full video, click the link below. Anthony Fowler got stuck in as well. He said, would he say it to his face, though? That's the question, Tony Bellew. He's also massively loved. Tried going to a bar with him at the UFC in Liverpool once. He was bombarded with love from the fans, so went on my own in the end with his lad. Tony says, I beg he keeps his energy when he sees me. Quitting coward will soon learn that for every action, there is a reaction. Oh dear.
Sometimes it's just getting, get kicked in the balls and they fall to the ground.
He quit against Adonis as well, didn't he? So we should be talking.
Well, he's fighting Barroso next, and someone said that they've aged him up so that Barroso doesn't look so old.
Fucking hell.
He kind of looks like they have.
No, there is some grey in the hair there, eh? Definitely, man. Barroso looks like that picture of about 10 years ago.
He looks mummified, doesn't he, Barroso?
Fucking hell.
Oh, day.
Looks like a fucking poster for a movie. Like two fighters fucking get out of prison after 20 years, have one last bout.
Yeah. It's that Broso looks like a time traveler, man. Don't he? Like he's been in pictures from different fucking generations. Doesn't he? Just popped up in the background.
Pancho Villa from 1920.
Yeah, like he could have been in the Mexican Revolution. He could be a fucking Victorian chimney sweep. He looks like all fucking people from time travel at the same time.
When his work is done, he just flaps his ears and goes to the next man.
Could have been extra Narcos as well for all we fucking do.
Oh, it looks like Steve Willis.
By the way, that is an absolute winnable fight for him, by the way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I expect him to win, Andy. I'd be disappointed in him if he didn't.
Just fucking high. And then he can fight. Can you imagine if he wins that fight and he ends up having to, or if he can defend against Rolly? Holy
No.
shit, man. Can you imagine the two meetings in the
That'd be
minds there,
class,
man?
wouldn't it?
The two meetings in the minds, man. It'll make us sound like a fucking Mensa meeting, I'll tell you right now.
Then when they come out with a fight poster of that, if nobody saw the actual Davies Barroso fight, they'd be like, hey, what happened to the old black guy? I thought he won the fight.
Oh, my word. Nathan Cleverly is back. Want access to free condoms? Join the C card scheme, said Health Wales. Cleverly reposted it, said, yes, please, please, loads, and then a load of emojis. Hashtag XXL. He's fucking off his head in him.
Oh, I
Grow up again. Fuck do you need them for 2023? Fucking come on.
Oh dear. I think you might have read this one out last week, Matty. I'm not sure. The latest musings from the mind of Isak.
Yes, we absolutely did.
Okay, we'll move on.
I worked my way through that word salad already.
The Book of Isak. That's what we need to
The Book of Isak. James was.
Really like the fucking Bible to man. When they make no fucking
James can't.
It'd be the first time in history a printer has ever put out a book that involved no punctuation whatsoever.
Be like reading Train Spotting, wouldn't it, Andy? Oh dear me. Yes, it's a shame Ozzy's not here. James said he's going to text us in his no nominations shortly. Well, no doubt he would have been on the train with this one. The Bad Rhino X Big John collection has landed. Discover versatile staples.
Is that what Giacomo was for? We've got Bad Rhino out there.
Did you get the other colors? Or just one?
I got one more. I got this beautiful mustard number.
Yeah, the mustard.
Look at that head on that body, man. Look at the mass. And the other video, I don't know if you got the video, Steve, I'm going down the fucking street somewhere abroad and that on one of the e-scooters.
No.
And the video cuts off as a car starts blowing its horn. Can you imagine a car making contact with him by the way? The car would be
going
right
on the
off.
street in Budapest. And by the way, I've been to Budapest. Everybody's in good nick. This is kind of you know what I mean? They eat well and that over there. He must have been getting. So it must have thought Godzilla was coming to town, man. To see him coming down the street on a fucking e-scooter.
Shout, who wants a fucking burger?
Look at him there. Colonel Mustard on the fucking hot dog.
Yeah, well, see, that's the brilliance of that color shirt. You know, like you think like, oh, they just pulled that out of their ass. No, Rob, that is strategically chosen. That's for the man on the run who thinks that he might have to eat a roadside hot dog or 7 and possibly might get mustard on their shirt. No one will be the wiser.
You've been very negative about John Fisher lately, Matthew.
No, like that. That's fat shaming. We're not down with that, Matty.
Takes 10
Only
pounds off
because
at
you're
least,
fat.
Not fat. Fucking 200 pounds. Are you fucking kidding me or what?
And
told me you should be 175.
200 at 6'2". I'm 45. I'm all right, man. I'm all right.
You should be at least 180, mate.
I'll get down there eventually.
No, I'm like 10 pounds.
Fucking stress me out. Listen to this. Can't fucking get me down to 180.
No, you're all
mate,
good.
it gets harder as you get older, mate.
Dude, fucking tell me about it.
I'm 10 pounds less than you and 4 inches shorter, so fucking, you know, it's all good.
You have to. Are you making an assertion that I'm drinking right now, Andy Patterson?
They photoshopped out the gravy stains. He's class, isn't he? Oh, that's a small in the US as Michael Thompson.
Yeah. Ozzy, that's one of the highlights of last week. Ozzy coming back was him telling about his fucking stories when he went to America and observing fat people all over the country. It was fucking brilliant.
Even recounted that he saw a fat man's t-shirt called the Fat Bastard Size.
One of my favorite pictures.
He must have been in hell, poor Osman over in America. He must have been in absolute fucking hell.
He must be stressing and sweating.
One of my favorite pictures in the entire history of the internet is a guy like the size of Big John in a shirt that says, "I beat anorexia."
Oh, I've seen that one actually. That's good.
That's what the internet's for.
I like the positioning of the cleavage in this t-shirt. It's like this under his arm. It's under the arm. I like it. It's a new dynamic for the fucking cleavage. Normally it's down the front, but he's got it out to the sides at the moment. So
I'm curious if they really did build this shirt for the fat man on the run. You know, like, does it have moisture wicking technology, not just for the for your underarms, but also for the under boob area?
He's pushed him over to the side, Matty.
He's wearing a man's ear. It's the opposite. It doesn't pull together and lift. It like pulls apart and separates and draws closer to the chest.
Must be like be him, man. Fucking summertime. Man, he's got to stand there with the tits standing
that
up.
song just came in my head. A picture of him coming down the street on the scooter in the summertime in the winter. Jesus. One of the listeners said, "What's the update on the live show?" Well, let me tell you who you can blame for the live show falling through: Vladimir Putin, because we had a slight chance of doing a live show if we could have got to the Katie Taylor fight. All of us in Dublin, we might have just even all logged on at the same time. But hotels in Dublin are 450 since the war in Ukraine, so we're not taking out a mortgage to do a fucking live show. Get a life for yourselves.
Oh, I thought you were talking about that offer we got to go to Chechnya.
Get sold into sexual slavery. Not likely. Not likely.
That was a trick. Shit.
I never said that.
Glad we didn't take him up on that. My butthole is grateful.
Oh dear. Try and stick this up your butthole, Matty.
No.
Danny Young's pumpkin from last week.
Yeah, I'm glad you posted that. I totally forgot the end of the show. He did a great job, and the lit up version is fucking
Yeah,
gorgeous.
here we are, ready? That is class, isn't it? Like,
murdered it.
Get a life.
It is class. But he frightened the shit out of the children in the estate with that, didn't he?
Why? Because they've never seen somebody with abs before?
No life. That's class, Danny. Well done, well done. Right, final couple. We have a video as well. Oh yeah, Father Dave didn't know what hit him during the week whenever Ricky Graville jumped on his live call with his pals. Ricky says, "I confess, drank, gambled in women's holes where they were that ugly the devil himself would not go." Father Dave looking.
That's motherfucker. Ricky asked for if we had any suggestions, things to say. I'm like, I'm not playing that game, man. I ain't pissing off God.
But by way of response to this, that then give them like the Book of Joshua, verse 3, chapter 7, line 17, or the Book of Matthew, verse 23, line 1, line 12.
What's the one that says it's better to spill your seed in the belly of a whore than onto the soil of the earth? Let's go with that one.
Book of Joshua just says, "I don't know what's going on in this chapter, but it's not nice."
That's what I was saying.
The Book of Matthew just says, "Just get high, bitch."
The Book of Matthew, did you?
That's what I'm named after.
Absolutely. That has to win, he says. We have a good one as well coming up. But first of all, Eddie was getting interviewed, and he has someone or something or some they or some woman, who knows, behind the curtain when he was getting interviewed by Boxing Social.
And Tyson says he's threatening to expose something very soon about Alexander Usyk. Do you think there's a underlying thing there?
Hello? Yeah, could you come back later, please? Gracias.
Re-winking that. Like anybody else in the world doesn't know what that means. Must be the maid coming in to sort of.
Aye, I'd say so.
Flip down, Eddie. Flip down. Yeah, no problem, mate. In you come.
There's a voice in the background going, "I want to talk about an upcoming fight, mate."
Wonder where Ebbs had gone.
She's a bit Conor McGregor these days, is she not?
She disappeared, hasn't she? And the final one, this one is pretty bad, like, but it made me laugh, so I throw it in anyway. We got tagged in on Twitter to this one because Miami So they were reporting Miami police officer Daniel Ramos Aviles, 40, was accused of sexually molesting 3 children, including his own 6-year-old. That is obviously not funny. Amanda Serrano jumped in and said, no disrespect, but is there any relationship between this Ramos and boxing's Rick Ramos? They have a facial resemblance and the same last name. Just wondering. Rick Ramos says, I'm speechless by the lack of respect. Thanks, Amanda. Class act.
Fucking hell, man. Game's going to be hard to share with Ramos today.
She wanted to know the answers to the tough questions.
Why are you getting on her? You're the one with the rapist face.
For fuck's sake. Where'd you go with that one, Matty?
I don't know.
Fox for Oscar, I think.
Oh my gosh, there you go. That's all the ones that I've got. None from Aussie this week. Any from you, Andy, episode 457?
Nothing, mate, I don't think. Been quite quiet this week. There was one floating about there, but it's completely been right out of my head. I'll probably come back to me.
No problem, that'll do. Matty, anything from you, please?
I can't compete with anything this week. There are some fucking top class
There's some good ones, isn't there?
Let it go.
Rob, any nominations from you, please?
No, but vicariously through Brian King, he tagged me into something where there was someone on Twitter it might be Vince Cummins or someone, and someone said, is it now time to say Canelo is the best 168 pounder of all times? And Cummins is like, well, he might have found trouble with Barkley and Tony, but I like him against Roy. And I was like, what? Roy now? Like, maybe, yeah. Roy at 68 would have beat the shit out of Canelo. What? Would have been a fucking mismatch. Like, but anyway, a vicarious one for BK. But yeah, some good stuff in there this week. Like.
There is indeed. There's the nominations that the boys threw in. Conor Benn as well was nominated for his video. Eubank threw in the response. Eddie's nomination, who was behind the curtain, guess we'll never know. It definitely wasn't Deontay Wilder behind the curtain anyway, because that fight is off, unfortunately. Rick Glazer got glazed. We had the footballer turned boxer who was competing in the prison canteen.
Still can't find his name by. I was searching for it.
Hopefully David Farmer will respond with the original article. Oscar got nominated as well.
Or Tevin Farmer.
Guigi's bail. Go on, Rob. What's Tevin been up to?
No, David Farmer or Tevin Farmer can come back to us and let us know which one of them.
Well, hopefully. Maybe he can't see the Twitter.
That's what I'm saying. He's on a different asylum.
We'll all be by the end of this. There's the folks and the lass, if that's what you can call it, with the T-shirts on. We've got the big fat guy got nominated as well. O'Hara Davis for his poster and his rantings against Bellew. Nathan Cleverly got nominated as well. Isaac Lowe. Big John with the collection. There's the lovely mustard coloured
Big John.
Danny. Shout out, thumbs up for his excellent work on the old pumpkin there. Fantastic work. Ricky Graville jumping onto Father Dave's stream. Amanda Serrano. Okay. Here you go for Rob.
It's a toss-up. It's not often you hear the words. It's a toss-up between Ricky Graville and fucking Amanda Serrano, but it's hard to top the two of them, isn't it? Out of everything we've had this week. Like, I think it's a rape-off. That's what we call
it. Matty, who are you going for?
I gotta go with Ricky because I was there when that was happening. That was just fucking top quality shit. I feel bad for Father Dave, though I really do. What have we done to this poor guy? What have we unleashed upon him?
Andy, what about you?
Yeah, Father Dave call for me, mate. That's just fucking glorious. I just want to know if there was any more that Ricky maybe even added into that conversation. Did he even get a response?
I hope not.
I fucking hope he did, mate. I hope he got a response and he came back with something else. Oh, it'd been glorious. Steve can get Father Dave on and maybe get Father Dave on to maybe even coach Ricky. A live confession on air, mate. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
That's the buddy cop movie we all wanted to fucking see.
We all the enlightened minds of religion fucking stoned to the podcast. We're going to listen to the priest. Forgive us, sons of our son.
I've already got the title for it. Ricky needs Jesus.
He's a priest, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is so fucked up.
Ricky Gravel and Father Dave need to have like a fucking one of those Sky Sports fucking face-offs, you know those ones? Johnny Nelson, fucking Johnny Horsecock in the chat. He's the moderator.
A bit of coffee here, man. I need to get off soon.
It's kind of like Cop and a Half, except the Webster-looking kid does cocaine and tries to get you to go into strip clubs.
They were an unlikely partnership formed in the boxing asylum.
This will be Ricky after
anointed by God. Credit to I think Universal Music Group or something. Whoever owns that crap now.
Fuck Interpol. Anyone kissing a dog playing R. Kelly, they're on the list, man. We're going down with the ship here.
Oh dear. I think Ricky Gravale and Father Dave, congratulations. You are the joint Value of the Week winners for episode 547. And that's where we shall end it. Probably should have ended it a long time ago in every respect, but we managed to make it to 10 o'clock anyway.
Thanks for bed now, boys.
Yep, we're ready for bed, absolutely. Thanks to everybody who's jumped on tonight. We've had Rob Kelly, Matty, Andy. Also, shout out to the people who joined us over on Patreon. Steve Antrobus and Snake Pliskin joined us over on patreon.com.
That's fucking awesome. Snake Pliskin. That's great, man.
How much money do we rack up in the super chat today, Steve, again?
Nothing.
Nothing. That's what you get.
I wasn't for the boys because I wasn't hosting. I don't know. I don't even know how this works anymore.
Hit a like in lieu of the super chats. Let's see if we can get 70 likes.
You can pay not to have him hosting ever again if you want to.
We love Matty. Well, he's going to be hosting next week, episode 548.
He loves it.
And I highly recommend everybody tunes in on the YouTube stream next week because you're going to want some visuals for what the Photoshop boys in the Nutters group are producing, which I would like to call Seasons of Andy.
Good luck, Andy. Right, have a good one, everybody. Stay safe, please. We'll see you next week. Bye.
We'll never forget.
I think that's good at me.
Go to Ajagba!
We want to be honest, yeah?
Crying like a little bitch. I've never met a fucking swank that can fight me.
I fell asleep.
You're a fucking bum, you're a fucking asshole.
Rumpo fucking Steltskin.
But allegedly, Oscar Rivas has failed a test.
7 year ain't. I will fucking smash fucking you.
I hope you fucking die.
Be safe.
I love boxing sounds, simple as that.